All right. Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are. SQL Dev DBA here, and I had to change the title of the stream because I forgot and I left it on the sim racing telemetry title, which I covered last week. However, this week is all about Formula One data. So we're still doing some racing data, at least. We're just doing Formula One based data instead of sim racing telemetry. So why am I even covering this? This is a topic that I covered about a year ago or so. I did a live stream on it. And if you're watching this on YouTube, I get to do the whole card thing right there. Like, go check out that video. That video up there will show you the how-to from the very beginning. From scratch, we build the report. Today, we're not going to build it from scratch. We're just going to update the version that we were working on earlier. So that's what we'll be doing today, and I'll talk about why in a second. First, BKJ133, great to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for joining. Hope you are well, and hope everyone is doing well. Okay, so during the week, I had someone who sent me an email and basically explaining that they're a student and they wanted to use my Formula One journey. I had a team journeys report, and they wanted to use that as sort of inspiration for a class project that they're working on for university. And so I gathered all the files I had on it, the queries, the data, the PBIX file, and I sent it over to them with a brief explanation. And I've been wanting to update this report for the 24 season because it only has data for the 23 season. I've been wanting to update it for a while. I just hadn't really seen a reason to, but this person inspired me to go ahead and update it. So I am happy to go ahead and do that for them. And so let's get first into a quick gear check of what keyboard and mouse I'm using, and then we'll move right into the report. So today, keeping it simple, Dell KB900. It's part of their collaboration series, or what they call the collaborator keyboard. No idea what that means other than we want to sell stuff and we're gonna give it creative names. The most collaborative thing about it, I think, is right here. This bar, it looks like it's off, or it looks like there's nothing here, but when you join a Zoom call, there's like a button for camera, a button for your microphone, and screen share button or something like that. Cool. I just like the feeling of chiclet keyboards every now and then. I'm a big fan of the Apple Magic Keyboard. I know that's gonna ruffle feathers, but I am. So this is one of the closer ones that you're gonna get for PC, even though I'm on the Mac right now. And this KB900, which is same line, the collaborator series, but they're a mouse, and it connects up to 3 devices. It's very similar to the MX Master series, if you like the Logitech mice. Surface Precision mouse is very close to this one as well, so I like them both. They're just normal Dell keyboard and mice, but they're really good feeling, and my hands don't get tired with them, so I like them a lot. All right, moving on. I promised myself I was going to keep that one quick, so moving on. Again, the reason I'm here is because someone asked for information about my F1 Team Journeys report, and I really want to make sure that report, since we're halfway in, or more than halfway into the Formula One season, this is a good time to update that report, considering it's been 2 weeks, or almost 2 weeks without a race. Singapore 2 weeks ago, I think. Next weekend is Circuit of the Americas in Texas. That one's exciting. And then I think Mexico, Brazil, and then back to Vegas or something like that. We're about to find that out, right? Because I have to rebuild the schedule. So let's get right into it. If anyone has any questions, if anyone has any ideas while I'm doing this, feel free to hop in chat and let me know. I'm gonna send a few links in chat because if you want to follow along, you should be able to. I'm gonna send, if you want my, that's the one thing I'm not gonna send here, is the Google Drive containing it. if you want the Google Drive, send me a whisper and then let me know in chat or something that you want it, and I'll send it directly to you. But the Google Drive link is probably not the best to put in chat, so we'll keep that off. So let's get right into it. So this is a blog post that I wrote back in February, and the reason I wrote this blog post is because Brent Ozar invited us. He was hosting a T-SQL Tuesday, and the topic was basically describe the most recent issue that you closed. And while it wasn't a super recent issue, the reality is I had, like, just when he sent it, I had worked on something to update like some shipments or something like that for work that I needed to update. And so I always try to do any sort of development for stuff that I'll use in the industry. I try to do it in my home lab. And so that's what I did with the Formula One data back in August of last year. And that's what I did to update it for work. So basically this post talks about what I did, how I solved the problem, what alternatives you can use, and even includes code samples of how you can recreate all this stuff yourself. I'm gonna go ahead and pop a link here in the chat to the blog post first of all, and it even has a link to the demo, so the demo of the report. So let's go ahead and click that, and then we'll be able to see the report in action. This is a very, very simple report. There is absolutely nothing special about this except the map. The map is the only thing. There, I pointed correctly. That's good. The map is really the only thing that's a little bit special. And the reason for that is because it shows the journeys from one race to the other right here on the map for you. So, for example, if I wanted the first race of the year, or maybe not the first race, but one of the races was Albert Park in Australia to Baku, which is in Azerbaijan. And when you click on that, it'll show you that journey. And then you can hold down control. If you're looking at this report on your own, you can actually hold down control and select multiple records, and it'll show you all of those journeys. And when you release the filters all together, it shows you all of them together. So it's really interesting to see how far they travel from one circuit to the other all around the globe. The color coordination that you'll see here, whether it's red, purple, or blue, it shows the distance for that particular trip from one circuit to the other. And it's pretty interesting to see some of the vast distances that they cover. Specifically this one right here, if I hover over, I can see Vegas to Abu Dhabi at the Yas Marina circuit, 13,000 kilometers, 8,000. That's 8,100 miles for those who think in freedom units. So it's very interesting to see just how they travel. You would think, you know, they just do a tour around the world in sort of geographical order, but this is very evident. It's very evident with that's just not the case. So we're gonna just update this for 2024. Now again, is there anything else I need to link? Oh, a link to the report itself, right? That's probably important. Even though the link that I posted already has that. Let me just send a direct link to the report for anyone who's interested in taking a look. And if you're on YouTube, all these links, all this stuff is just going to be right there in the description for you. So you don't have to worry about like pausing it and typing all those characters that I just typed. You'll have it right down there in the description, so you can feel free to have a look there. Also, the Google Drive for the starting version of this project and the ending version of this project will both be in the description below, so you can feel free to check that out as you see fit. Okay, so let's take a look at a couple other pages. This is just a map. I also just have a simple page by country. I don't remember why I added this. I just wanted to see, hey, by country, how many races are there? That's just something that we generally take a look at when we're looking at data like this. Just a simple word map here. not too effective. I'll probably switch that up while we're here. Here's tracks versus HQs, which doesn't really tell a lot either. And let's see, more events by country and then some events by month. This was a little bit more interesting because you can see how many months are just packed together as far as events goes versus how many are just one event. For example, like September of last year, there was only one event, and if I click on that, I can see that that event was in somewhere. Let's see, Netherlands. So that was probably Zandvoort. Was the only race in September, and same goes for May. In May, Baku was the only race. So maybe we'll update this a bit and give it a little bit more depth. And then lastly, we just have credits. We have a bit of a changelog. The last time I worked on this report was in October of last year, where I added some of the pages. So it's about time for this report to get an update. So let's go ahead and start. So normally when I'm working, or when I'm working on a project here for my streams or my website, what I do is I take the current version from powerbi.com, and that's the version I start working from. And that's a recommendation I would have for you as well. If you're working in an environment where you have multiple people working on reports, especially, unless you have some sort of change control in place, and there's really not a lot for Power BI. There's a lot of stuff that's up and coming, but nothing that's super well established. The only thing I can suggest for you is maybe to use SharePoint. SharePoint is really good at native version control. So even Power BI started suggesting it. I think sometime last year they started suggesting SharePoint or OneDrive at least, because it has automated version control, and you can technically use that as a sort of source control. But why do I say that I would always recommend downloading the newest version from powerbi.com is because in the time that it took you to realize that you had to make an update to it, there's a possibility that one of your team members made a change. And unless you do something like this where you have a change log, you can't be really sure. And so you might be working on a version that was the latest one that you developed and you published, but one of your coworkers may have already published an updated version to fix something that they saw. And because I work in teams, that is something that my team members and I always try to keep in mind, is if you can, just download the latest version. And that usually keeps you out of trouble. So I don't need to do that. That's just a suggestion I have. Normally I do it. Let's see if I can go to data discoveries. I don't even remember where it is that I have this. Probably data set demos. F1 stats. Where is it? All right. So if you're not really sure where your reports are, I'm gonna just type in Formula One team journeys here. Or is it F1 team journeys? It's probably F1 team journeys. How about just journeys? All right, F1 team journeys. It looks like it's just in either data driven sim racing or my workspace. Normally I'd go here, and if you're in a team, you would just open the report, open the latest version, or make sure it's the latest version, and then just do a file, download this file. It's grayed out for me because this is actually a copy, so I don't really need to do that. I have it all here, and if you go to the Google Drive link, that will be in the description of this video on YouTube. But again, if you want this link, let me know in chat that you sent me a whisper or something, and I'll go ahead and send it over to you. You're gonna get this, and basically these are all the files that I had, including a README file just to get you started, Excel versions, CSV versions of the data, that sort of thing. There is no data source for this data. Like, I didn't go to Kaggle. If you watch the video, I don't think I can link a second time to the same video, but if you watch the video on YouTube from my prior stream where I did this, which was back last year, I think if you just search like SQL Dev DPA team journeys or something, you'll see it. You'll see that I created this data from scratch, and that's what we're gonna do today. It's gonna be a long one, I think. So If you'd rather just use me as like a screensaver or a co-working style situation, you can feel free to, because I will be working quite a long time. Luckily, the tracks didn't change much. There were a few shifts in the order. There was China that got added this year that wasn't here last year. So that's what we're going to be adding. So what I'm actually going to do is open the source of the Google Drive document, which is this right here. I just went ahead and uploaded it when I was done. And the first thing I'm going to open is the Power BI report. So here's the Power BI report. And what I'm going to do is look at the sources. Whenever I open a report, I just try to look at the sources. What am I dealing with as far as sources go? So you can either just right click on these and just go to edit query. You can also go here to the data model and see what you're working with the data model. We can see here that I have a location info events. I have a location info places. I have a location info tracks, and that tracks data set links out to both events and places. Places are basically just countries, it looks like. And then I have the location journeys. And this one's quite expansive. As you can see, it just has quite a lot of data. And I believe that this is the primary one that I used for my reports, but I'm gonna try to make sure. How do I confirm that? Well, I just click on any visual, and then I just take a look at all of the data sources that have check marks. That's the easiest way to tell what visual is using what data source. And as you can see, this table is using solely this view here. Let's take a look at these, this. It's all using just that view. So things may have gotten slightly easier. Oh, here's one that's using places. That's fine. Here's another one that's using location info places. Tracks. This one's using tracks. Events by month. Is it events? Here we have events as well. The round. That's an interesting one too, because you can filter on which round you want to look at. And credits doesn't use any data source, so we're okay there. So it looks like all of them are being used except for this lat long test. I can only assume that the lat long test was for this test of the flow map. This visual is called the flow map, and we will go ahead and open that up. Let's take a quick look at that visual. To do that, I'm just going to open up the marketplace, and I can do that by clicking on this ellipse here and then just going to get more visuals. And then here, I'm just going to search for the word flow, or I guess flow map. There it is. So this is the flow map that we're using. It has information about it. And if you're curious about it, you can actually download a sample PBIX file that shows you how to use it. I just went ahead and looked at the instructions, and I tried to use that instead. I think the instructions included something like the Empire State Building, when I hover over that, to Disney World, Magic Kingdom, and then over here, the Golden Gate Bridge. So the interesting thing about the flow map is it requires a origin and a destination. You can see in this visualizations pane here on the far right, you can see right there that it requires a origin and a destination. And we can do that using coordinates. And so every origin has a destination, meaning every trip has both of those. But to formulate how, or to visually represent how Formula One journeys go, you have to keep in mind that what I had to do was give every journey a starting track and an ending track, or a starting country and an ending country. So that's why you can see here the from and to are all tracks. And you can also see here that if I wish I added the event ID. Let's see if we can do that very quickly. We're going to add the event ID to this, from event ID to event ID. Let's try to see what happens when we add it. Okay, so here's the from ID. Let's do from ID. And when I order it by the from ID, we can see that it's being done, right? -1, and then we have 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. What is that? Well, that's because this event ID is a number, but Power BI happens to be treating it as text. So we're going to change that. That's one of the first things we're going to do, is just change this from event ID to a whole number. And this might break things because I haven't done the most important part, which is just looking at the data sets and seeing where they're coming from. So let's see what happens here. It asks if I'm okay with doing a data type change, that I might lose data. That's okay. And okay, we're all set. We're okay here. But now we can see when I push them in order, I can see that we go from FIA HQ, which was just a central origin that I put for everyone, even though all teams are coming from their own respective HQs. This was just a way to centralize everything, because otherwise it would just be a ton of journeys all over the place from their HQs to the tracks. But if that's something you're interested in, I challenge you to go ahead and just say, hey, where are all the teams coming from? Where are all the teams' HQs? And how do they converge at Bahrain? Or whatever the first, sometimes it's Bahrain, sometimes it's Melbourne. Last year was Bahrain. All right. So we have FIA HQ to Bahrain. Then we have Bahrain to Jeddah. Then we have Jeddah to Albert Park. And you can see how things sort of repeat, but they really don't. It's just whatever the destination track was last time becomes the origin track. So that's how I visualize the journeys using this flow map. And that's really important for you to know. So let's go ahead and take a look at the data sources for real this time, instead of saying I was going to do it and then taking 10 minutes on a completely separate tangent like I always do. Let's take a look at the data sources and make sure they still work. For that, I can actually go to the table view instead. We can see that the lat long test, that data source is okay. I'm seeing the data, and that means we're good to go. Location info events, that one's also okay. It looks like we're okay here. The event ID, the round, the track ID, the event calendar year. If you go back and watch my original video where I made this, you'll know that that was me thinking ahead, because we were about to go into the 24 season in a couple months. This was done again in, I think, August. And I knew I was going to update this for 24 at some point, so I wanted to be sure that I separated the data properly by the calendar year. So we're going to add 2024 data to this during this stream. All right, next is location info places. That's good, that's there. Location info tracks, that's good as well. Can I right click and just refresh these to make sure? Yeah, let's go ahead and just refresh this, make sure it loads. Okay, it's loading, that's good. Let's refresh that, and we have a problem. Okay, so here it's asking me for the credentials, and normally I would just go to database and enter the desktop and be good to go. I don't think that's going to work, because the computer that I'm running this Power BI desktop app on is not the computer that has the SQL server that has the data. So I actually have to communicate with another computer on my network, and that's what we're about to do. So let's go ahead and fix that. We're just going to right click on the offending query and click, or let's just go to any and just click edit query. Now the Power Query editor will show up, and you can see already that we have an issue here with a couple of these. This one I actually fixed earlier just to confirm that everything works, because the last thing I want to do is have to like tinker around with my SQL servers here. So this one's all good. I'm going to go ahead and refresh that and just make sure that's good to go. Yep. All right, so this one, there's an issue here. And when I look, it's connecting to a table in the DBO schema, location info tracks. So how do I change that? Or do I need to change that? No, the reality is if I go here to SQL Server Management Studio, I can see that location info tracks is good. It's live, it has data. There's no reason it shouldn't work, except for the server I'm using, which you can get to by clicking over here in the applied steps on the right. If you click on the source, you'll see that it's SQL database and then desktop blah blah blah. It's not what I want. I want my SQL server which I'll type in here, and then I'll click connect. And now we are good to go. Now we have our data source correct. It's linking to the right SQL server, and we're okay. Now I'm gonna go through and just do that for all of these. I'm gonna go to the source, type in the correct SQL server, confirm that, and there we go. And same for this one. All right, so we are good to go there. We are good to go. Now we have all of our data refreshed, and I can just click the mass refresh button and it should be okay to go. I'm gonna click close and apply. It's gonna go back, refresh everything just to be sure that we have all our data, and then we can proceed to update everything. All right, great. And if you don't have a SQL server, that's quite all right. If you look at the Google Drive files, you'll actually see some CSVs here. That was me exporting the data that you just saw in the SQL server to CSV so that you can still follow along. You can still create this entire report. All you have to do is just use those CSVs as your data sources in Power BI instead, and you'll be good to go. Same exact thing. And again, I have the PBIX. The PBIX, for anyone who's new to Power BI, when you choose the import connection model, the PBIX will actually hold the data inside of it using SQL Server analysis services. So you will have access to the data regardless, but I would suggest changing all your data sources to the CSV, which you can easily do with Power BI. Maybe I'll try to keep that in mind for myself. Maybe I'll make a version of the PBIX that just has the CSVs as the data sources. That way you don't have to bother with doing so if you try to tackle this on your own and don't have SQL Server. All right, so it's time to update our data. What I did last time, just for a memory refresh of sorts, what I did last time is I went to the F1 website and I got their calendar from there. So if we go to Formula One, let's just go to F1, Formula1.com. Accept all the cookies because I love cookies. I'm very hungry. What we're going to do is go to the F1 website, and we are going to go to this section that says schedule. So here I'm going to take a look, and here we are. We have everything we need except for locations, and that's okay. That's okay. We can look at the locations in a second and how to get them. All right, so we have Bahrain was testing, and Bahrain was round 1 as well. So we have testing, we have round 1, round 2, round 3, etc. I think there's usually like a marker for when the current race is, and here it is right here. We can see that it looks like there's like a split, and that means we're between Singapore and United States, which is actually it's not even a split, it's just a showcase of the current race or the race that's next. So this is the data that we'll be using. Last time I went ahead and just created it based on this website. I went ahead and just did it in Excel. That's perfectly fine for you to do. Create it in Excel and then upload it into SQL Server, or just use that Excel as your Power BI data source. That's cool too, no problem. Or, as I said before, export it to a CSV. That's okay too. From Excel. It's not like you can just export to CSV from this website here. I wish that was the case. Maybe you can build like a web scraper that does it. Your call. You can go ahead and do that. If you do, let me know. I'll happily showcase it here and show it off for you, or change my report to use your data instead. It's your call. Okay, so let's just start building stuff. Here we're gonna go back to the SQL Server, and we'll see we have location info places, we have location IDs, and we have track as the location type for most of them, except for this team HQ. Now, when we look at the view that was used the most, it's VW location journeys. So let's take a look at that view and see what its source tables were. If we go here to the Formula One database, we'll go to views, and then we'll say we want location journeys. So I'm going to right click on location journeys. And what I like to do is I like to right click on these. A lot of folks prefer alter. I like to script them as create statements. Why? Because if I inadvertently execute, it won't do anything because the view already exists. So that's a good way to kind of just keep yourself out of trouble, is just to always script as a create statement instead of a alter statement. All right, and we can see that the last time I touched this was August 13th. I like to leave sort of a Hansel and Gretel style trail of comments whenever I make changes to my stuff. So that's what you'll see here. And we can see I did all sorts of stuff here in this SQL Server view. I have my data sources, which are all the way down here, location info journeys, location info places, and then I did location info places again. Now you may be asking, why would I join to the same exact table twice? It's because I needed location information for the origin and also for the destination. And so I joined to the same table twice just to get both of those details. And then here we can see that I have a couple case statements. The first one up here is using a formula or a function to get the distance from one point on the globe to another. We can see the from latitude and longitude and the to latitude and longitude are all right here. Now, when I get that information based on the distance in kilometers, I had a system where I said, depending on the amount, or depending on the distance, I was going to give it a certain color. So you can see when it's between 10,000 and let's see. Now I'll just understand what number it is that I'm looking at here. That's 3 zeros, 1, 2, 3 more zeros, 2, 3 more zeros, 9,999,999 million. Sorry. So why do I do that? It's because that's basically my infinity. You can't just tell SQL Server infinity. You can technically do like when it's greater than X number, and any number up to infinity will qualify for that. But I wanted to be able to add scenarios to this as I needed to. So that's why I like to keep my cases as betweens. So I have here between 1,000 miles and 500 miles, or 5,000 miles between 5,000 and 10,000, and then 10,000 plus basically is what this one means. And then here I have negative distances up to 1,000 miles were green. So you might want to do like a yellow for negative distances, because I can't imagine any distances would be negative. That'd be probably, you might want to write to like NASA or something if you discover negative distances, because they've been looking for those for a while. All right, and if anything fails, then it's orange. Now you may be asking yourself, what is this function? What is this whole get distance in kilometers function? I happen to have SQL prompt, and SQL prompt can just quickly pop up a script for that function, so I can peek at it. That's a cool feature of SQL prompt. If you don't have it, I pay for it out of pocket. I'm not sponsored by them or promoting them or anything, but I'm just a really happy customer for SQL prompt. So this is just a function that gets the distance in kilometers from an origin right here to a destination right here. And it uses some interesting math to do so. If you want the functions, they're right here. I have the functions in that blog post that I linked earlier. If you got here recently and you don't have that link, let me know and I'll post it again. Otherwise, yeah, it's all right here and you can download it for yourself. Okay, so what else do we have here? we have latitude and longitude separately. We can see it right here, but we also have latitude and longitude combined. Why combined? Because the visual that we're using, this flow map, prefers them in a combined manner. As you can see right here, it's from latitude, longitude combined, and then to latitude and longitude combined. So that is why we have them combined here. Technically speaking, you can also do sort of a separate one, but I found it a bit too messy. I'm pretty sure I remember I found it a bit too messy. Here it is right here, origin latitude or destination latitude and longitude. You can feel free to use that. It was just a bit messy for me, so I decided to just use this combined method instead. And then the only other thing is the distance in color right here. That's what we were just discussing right here. This case statement gives us the color, and then I have the distance km color, which you can see right here in the Power BI color section as well. You can also use the settings of the visual itself to designate which colors, but I wanted to have it as dynamic as possible so I wouldn't have to keep deploying this report if I made any changes. Then we can see here that we just have a category or a label for these descriptions, or for these distances. It's called distance km description, and I believe I put that in the tooltips. Let's see, maybe not. Looks like I did not. But basically this puts it into buckets: 0 to 1000, 1000 to 5000, 5000 to 10,000, and then greater than 10,000. And I think where you can see that is right here. The legend up at the very top of this visual, it has those descriptions, and that's where it inherited it from. And I think you do that in the... Ooh, that's interesting. Where is it that you do that? Color. First from location name to location name. Oh, now I'm curious. Where is it that I have that? I'm gonna go look at the legend area. Oh, I just put them in manually. I guess you can't do it dynamically here, so I just put them in manually. There we go. Okay. All right. That's enough reviewing, and we're just gonna go ahead and update the data instead. So let's take a look at the data and go ahead and update it. I'm gonna click save really quick just to make sure I have the latest version saved to my hard drive at least, and then we'll work on getting that up to date. All right, let's start. So we're gonna pull up this view. Doesn't need any updating, or at least not that I see, because there's no data that actually exists in this view, right? A SQL Server view is just a query. There's materialized views in Oracle that do have data, and there's indexed views here in SQL Server that actually do contain data in them, but we're not working with that. We're working with a simple view here. So that is, there's really no need to update any data in here. We may have to update some code in a little bit though. So we'll see how that goes. All right, let's take a look at location info tracks. And the first thing we need to do is just make sure that we have all the tracks that we need for this year. So I'm gonna shrink this a little bit, and I'm just gonna open this guy here on the right. Let's see, how do we do that? I mean, there we go. Okay. Normally I'd use like my Windows key and right arrow or something, but I have to be very careful how I do that because I'm actually on my Mac and my Windows machine at the same time, so it might have some issues. All right, so do we have all the tracks that we need? Do we have Sakir? Yes, Sakir is just Bahrain, so let me make sure that I have it here. Here it is, Bahrain International Circuit. That's where the first track ID. They're just called something different, so we might end up changing that in a bit, but highly doubt we'll need to. Saudi Arabia, yes, we have Jeddah right here. Australia, that's Albert Park. Japan. Do we have Japan? Suzuka. There it is. We have Japan. China's the one we don't have. So let's make a quick list of which ones we need. We need China, which is round 5. Do we have Miami? I believe we do. There it is right here. Do we have Emilia Romagna, which is Imola? I believe we have it somewhere around here. Or was there a flood last time? Was that canceled? Was that canceled? Here's Italy. That is Imola right here. Okay, here it is. That is Imola, but I believe it was canceled last year due to flooding. It did happen this year, but I believe last year it was canceled. But we still have it. We're good. We're good anyway. Monaco, there it is right here. Canada is next, and there it is. Spain. Where are you? I could technically just order these by country, so let's try that. Let's just do a quick order by country. That way I can look for them by country instead. So I'm gonna look for Spain, and there it is, Spain. Austria, there it is right here. Great Britain, right here with Silverstone. We have Hungary, we got it. Belgium, can't miss that. It's one of my favorite tracks. Netherlands, there it is. Zandvoort, Italy again. This is Monza this time, and here it is. Azerbaijan, there it is right here. That's Baku. Singapore, nope, we have Singapore already, so we don't need to add that. We have United States, and there's 3 of them. The first one is Circuit of the Americas, which is this one, which I do have. We have Mexico, which is right here. We have Brazil right here. We have Vegas is right here. We have Qatar. Do we have Qatar? We do. It's right here. And Abu Dhabi, which is in UAE. There it is, the Yas Marina circuit. So we've got them all. And if you are curious about how I got the list that you see on the left, here's the link to season 2023, which shows the tracks that I have here. And the only difference is you will see China. You will not see China, actually, is the only difference. This one had 23, I believe. This year, 24 rounds. So we just have to add one. That adds up. The math checks out, doesn't it? Okay, so how do we add China? There's a couple ways you can add data to SQL Server tables, right? You can say, I want to right click on this, and are we in tracks? No, we are in tracks, not places. So I'm going to right click on tracks. Let's try that again. I'm going to right click on tracks. Oh, nope. It looks like my computer's frozen for a second. Let's see if we can get it to work. I'm going to wait a little bit. Hopefully the connection's still okay. All right, it looks like the computer itself that's running the SQL Server is having issues. So let me see if I can execute again, and it's good. So maybe that was a hiccup. Let's try that again. Location info tracks, right click, there we go. Okay, edit top 200. So edit top 200 is just a way for you to manually input data here. So you are more than welcome to just put your data right here, and it'll update the table or insert a record, or you can update the existing records as well. That's absolutely fine. I'm gonna go ahead and just use SQL to do it. All I have to do is an insert statement. So insert into, and then I'm gonna take the entire table name because I like to be explicit and fully qualify everything I can. So I will be fully qualifying the table, and I'll also be explicit about the columns that I'm inserting data into. So the first one is track ID, track name, and the IntelliSense is helping me out here, so I don't have to do too much work. That's not country, it's county, but it was country. There we go. Latitude and longitude. Those are the columns I'll be inserting data into. And to do that, I can do it 2 ways as well. I can either just do a simple select statement from the data that I want without having a from, Depending on what database management system you are on, this may work or not. With Oracle, for example, you have to do a from dual if you're not selecting from any particular table. For this, I'm just going to use the simple values. And then we have track ID is going to be the next available one. However, I'm curious, is track ID a identity column? Because if so, I don't have to insert any value into track ID. I just insert into the rest of them and it'll auto increment it. So how do I look at it? I happen to have SQL prompt, so I have a shortcut, but I'll show you how to confirm on your side. So here we can open this up and see the columns, and we can see that it's an integer and null, but we can also right click on this, script the table as a create, and then it'll give us a create statement for our entire table. And now we can see that there is no identity. I could have made this into an identity column so that it's just an auto incrementing number and I don't have to worry about it, but I didn't back then. So I'm going to go ahead and just insert the ID. So what's the next available ID? We can see it's right here. 24 is the next value. So we're gonna give it 24. And then for the track name, let's take a look. Where is China? Okay, let's take a look at the circuit and see what the official name is. Shanghai International Circuit. So we'll just paste that in here. And what's the next column? Country is China. The latitude and longitude. Here's where things get interesting. You can use Google Maps. You can use, I don't know. Are people still using TomTom? You can use TomTom. I don't know if that's even still online. I've had the best experience with powerBI. Please don't judge me. With powerBI, I've had the best experience with the coordinates that Bing Maps gives me. Can't tell you what. It's just, I don't know. So we're gonna go to Bing Maps. Then we are going to grab, there's where I am. Okay. We'll wait for it to load, I guess. We're gonna go to Bing Maps and we're going to say, I want the Shang. That's not where you search for it, is it? How do I search for something? Man. All right, let's just go to China real quick. See, Bing Maps is great, but the experience itself, or it provides great data, but the experience itself is apparently something I don't want to deal with right now. Okay. So am I just missing something here? Where there's no search bar? Come on, Bing Maps. Don't do this. Don't do this, Bing Maps. Just let me search for stuff. There's like no menu. It's just like, yeah, you just want to explore maps. That's what it is. All right, so Shanghai International, what did I call it? Shanghai International Circuit. Okay, and then I go to maps because, that's exactly how I want to do it. I don't want directions. Thank you very much. Okay, so we can see, if we blow it out a little bit, we can see that this is on the eastern border and very close to the water here. So I'm going to right click here and I will see this distance here. Copy is what I want. This 31 latitude and longitude, the 31 and the 121. I'm going to go ahead and just put them right here, paste them. And then I'm going to have it be the next values that I have. So I will do latitude first, which is this 31. And then next is longitude. And the cool thing about SQL prompt, again, not trying to sell SQL prompt, but it's amazing, is that when I'm on a particular column, if you look up here this gets highlighted. This longitude section gets highlighted when I'm down here, so I know exactly which column I'm on. It's just a great tool, and it's really helpful. It saves me a lot of time. And then 121 is the longitude, and I'm good to go. See if we can go ahead and add those. Oh, I have a double parentheses here, so I got to kill that. And there we go. Now I should be able to run it. Let me just do a quick parse real quick. There we go. And now we can execute. I'll go ahead and select. And now we should have 24 somewhere around here. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There it is. 24 Shanghai International Circuit. And we are good to go here. Now, next thing we want to do is add the actual sequence of events. The sequence of events is really important because it is what's actually going to give us the journeys. This track that I just added will not show up until I add an event for it. Why do I know that? Because if we take a look at the code for the actual view, which is here, we have to add a journey record. That's the from table. So if it's not in this table, if it's not referenced in this table, it will never be available in the view to us. So how do we do that to the journeys table? Well, let's take a look at the journeys table. I'm just going to right click on journeys and select top 1000. And now we have our journeys table. And basically what we have is a journey ID. We have a from location, a to location, a to location type, because that's something I ended up needing, it seems. And then a from event ID and a to event ID. Now this is going to be a very interesting. This is organized in a very data warehousey way. And if you haven't checked out Ralph Kimball's data warehouse toolkit, I would suggest that you do so. But basically this is just a warehouse style table. All it is it has a journey ID, a location ID, a to location ID, a from event ID, and a to event ID. So it doesn't really have much data all on its own or any information. It just has sort of pointers to other tables that have more information about the record. So it's very important that if you want to organize your data in this way, that you follow the principles of the Data Warehouse Toolkit by Ralph Kimball, or just known as the Kimball system, or something Kimball, not sure. But I'm a big fan of his, and so that's what I would suggest reading. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to add records to here, but we're going to do that in a manner that is consistent with the calendar for 2024, and in a way that easily separates the calendar as well. So what do I mean by that? I mean, what the data that you see here is all 2023 data. The data we're about to push in is 24. But as soon as I start writing records here, you're going to have no idea how to tell the difference. So I want to make that very clear for you. And to do that, I'm just going to go ahead and add one column here. And it's going to be the calendar year. Is it the calendar year? I'm starting to think about this, and like normally I've seen Formula One straddle 2 years. And so how about something like race calendar year or race season year? Race calendar year is fine. Okay. And I can't just add it to the select statement and expect it to do wonders, right? Like there's no column that exists right now. So I can't just do that. What I have to do is I have to add the column to the table. And there's several ways to do that. My preferred method is the quick and easy SQL method, which is alter table. I'm going to alter the location info journeys table, and I'm going to add race calendar year. Now, what data type am I going to use? A simple integer is fine. You can also use a small int, but then you're getting away from standard SQL and going more towards SQL Server specific data types. So a simple int or integer will work for that. It does cover the years. It's sort of wasting space a little bit if you're going to get all precise. Well, you should be using small int or tiny int, and I'm just not about that. I'm trying to keep it simple for you all, so I'm just going to add it as an integer. Now I can select it, and that's all well and good. I like to use Control E for executing. I don't like to use F5. So Kendra Little is the one that kind of, I was watching a video by her, and she's the one that got me onto that, is just Control E for Control Execute. That way you don't mistakenly go to like debug or something like that with F5 if you're using Visual Studio normally. Okay, so as you can see here, they're all blank, and this is how I want to catch it, just being all blank, because that means my insert statement is going to be super easy to do. I'm just going to select, or sorry, my update statement, because I want to update all these values to 2023. And the way I like to build update statements may not be your way, and that's absolutely fine. I just don't trust myself, so I like to build my inserts, my update statements, by building them as select statements first. So I'm going to select, let's just say journey ID and race calendar year. And as you can see, race calendar year is giving me a little bit of trouble. It's not showing up. It's marked in red, which means IntelliSense hasn't recognized it yet. The way I like to use my shortcut to refresh IntelliSense is I hold Control-Shift-R, I press that, and within a couple seconds, that goes away, and I am good to go now. So, race calendar year from the table that we were just in. Now, I'm going to go ahead and just comment out using Control-KC. I'll comment it out, just so that we have a clean query and I don't run that alter table anymore. I don't need it. So I'm gonna go to journey ID and see that I have all my journeys. That's good. Now what I want to do is copy this from, and here is like, reason I like building it as from is because technically I could say, hey, only update where the journey ID is less than or equal to 24. That would be a good way to filter and only make sure you're touching the records that you want. TypeErrorDev, how's it going? Great to see you. Thanks so much for the follow between streams, and great to see you. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to let me know. Great to see you here. Thanks for your support, and thanks for joining. All right, so we will go ahead and use this from to build our update. TypeErrorDev says, chillin', bro, just at work on a break. I figured I'd pop in and see what's good. Great to have you. Yeah, we are just, let me actually give you something to look at that's not just plain old SQL. We are basically rebuilding this report, or not rebuilding it, but refreshing it for the 2024 year. This is a report that has all the F1 journeys for the 2023 calendar year, so all the different places that the F1 teams went, and it represents them as sort of journeys on the map. And so someone used this as inspiration for a project for university, and they let me know, so I wanted to go ahead and use that as motivation to refresh this. So that's why we're here. That's why we're refreshing. Hopefully it goes well. We'll see how it works. If TypeError says that, nice dude, that's dope. Thank you, I really appreciate that. It was one of like my first projects on streams, on a stream, and so I'm gonna go ahead and pop the link over for you in the chat so you can explore this report. This report, by the way, if you're watching on any mobile devices, it does load on a mobile device. You just put it in landscape mode, and you can actually touch and interact with the report. You can go through all the pages, and you can use all the filters that I have set up there. Let me know if you see anything weird with it, and I'll happily fix it while we're here. TypeErrorDev says, how deep are you planning on going? This is probably going to be surface level, or I guess, I don't know, surface level for some people is really deep for others. Like right now, we're going into the data inside SQL Server, and we're making adjustments to the tables. We're adding new data in SQL Server, and then we're gonna surface all that back up to the report. I kind of came in here, I hadn't touched the report in such a long time that I really didn't know what I was gonna be up against. It's been more than a year since I've worked on it. So I'm gonna try to keep it as quick as possible, but If you've seen my streams before, you know that's probably a promise I can't keep. So I'm gonna do my best to just get it updated and get it out the door. But I assume I'm gonna be here for at least another like hour and a half or so, maybe 2. We'll see. Thanks, again for stopping by. I really appreciate it, and I hope when you go back to work that the rest of your work day is chill, pretty chill. All right, so here we go. Let's go ahead and update it. And again, we're going to use our from statement or our select statement to make sure we know which records we're updating. Here they are right here. This from, I'm just going to copy it, and I'm going to remove the select, obviously, right? We want to make sure we remove the select, and it's just going to be an update. Now we have our column that goes in a set. So we have update a table, set race calendar year equals, and we want to set this to 2023 because it's last year's data before we push in our 24 data, right? So we're going to update something. And now here you're at a crossroads. Some SQL Server developers, they like to use just a straight update like this. So you have to kind of reconfigure it. Update the table, set this column equal to the value and then the where clause. I like to do as minimal work as possible. So what I like to use instead is, if we go back to how I had my update statement, I have 2023 here, and I just like to stick with my from. Why do I do that? Because technically with this method, you can use joins very easily in SQL Server. So I can actually just left join to a table and use that value to update instead. So if you have like a standard table, and then you have a table that has your newer data and you want to update them to be the newer data, you can technically join them together and update that way. So how do you do that? Well, I just say I'd give this from table an alias, and I usually like to use the first letter of each word. So LIJ for location info journeys. I'll update LIJ and then set race calendar year to 2023 from the location info journeys table as LIJ, where the journey ID is less than or equal to 24. So let's see how that works. 24 rows updated. And now when we select them again, there we are. They all say 2023. Now we get to have some fun. Now we get to add the new journeys. So let's do that. I'm going to go ahead and shrink the size. Nope, I can't shrink that size. I'm going to shrink the size of this SQL Server Management Studio window. And I'm going to, again, pop open the F1 website to go back to these team journeys for the schedule. And here we are. Is this it? No. Oh, this is just China. Okay, I have to go back to the schedule. There's the schedule here. Now we're good. Okay, so I don't have enough information here to really update this table easily. So instead, what I'm going to do is just kind of jot things down. And I might have to use Excel for that. So let's just quickly use Excel. Hopefully I'm not wasting time here. I think this is the easiest way for me to do this. And of course, Excel's not loaded here, so I'll just use excel.microsoftonline.com. And I think that'll load. No. Login.microsoftonline.com. Super. Thanks very much. So what I'll do is go through Power BI instead, and I will go to this area and Excel. Ha, Microsoft, I defeated you. Okay, so let's just do a new workbook, and we'll call this F1. Really? F1 Team Journeys 2024. And now I'll just do that instead. Oh no, now I need to like pop it out so I can have my F1 Team Journeys website up. Okay, so this is going to be round. This is going to be track, I guess, country, and then from date to date. All right, let's see if we, man, I feel like I'm rebuilding this again, but the reality is I have to. The dates changed completely from last year to this year, so there's really nothing I can do about that. We're just gonna have some fun here, adding the data. So here, round, can we say round 1? No, it's round 0. The track is Bahrain. Country is Bahrain as well. The from date is 2/21 2020. No, 2/21 2024 and 2/23 2024 is the to date. Round 1 is also Bahrain, so I'll just copy that. And the from is 2/29 2024, 03/01 2024. Now, if you are in the civilized world and I'm currently offending you because you use day and month, I apologize, but this is easiest because my computer is set up in US, and the reality is I use this for work, so that's how it is. ElsyBot, thanks for following. I hope you're not a bot. But thanks for the follow. We'll see how things transpire here with a new bot. Yeah, it's a little sus if I'm honest. Oh, ElsyBot said thanks for the content. Okay, great to see you, ElsyBot. Thanks for joining us. Glad to have you here, and it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. All right, so Saudi Arabia is next. So that's the country. ElsyBot says, I assure you that I'm just a dev who has designed too many IVRs. That's super cool. I used to work at an organization where I was in charge of the database for our IVR and all of the data that it accessed as well. So I am all too familiar with IVRs from a data perspective, not from a logistical perspective. I'm sure you have lots of fun. Sorry for being cautious there, ElsyBot. I just want to make sure because we get bots all the time, being a small channel here. So SariBot didn't ban you, and that was already a good sign for me. So welcome. Glad to have you here. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you have any suggestions for stuff that I should tackle. Anything at all. All right, Saudi Arabia. And the track is, I can't remember, but we'll just do countries. Why don't, no, we can't just do countries because some of them we have. Jeddah circuit. I know things, I promise. ElsyBot says, I'm learning the data side after a long time with those logistics. Your stuff has been a big help. Greatly appreciate you. Thanks so much for the kind words. I am happy to help. Man, I'm wondering if there's anything IVR related. I work with particular systems that handle case management via IVRs. I don't want to say the brand. But I'm sure you're familiar a billion times with it. But yeah, I do handle like bots that create automated cases, for example, based on calls and stuff. I handle that type of data a lot, so maybe I can find some cool data that I can work with. If you happen to find any on Kaggle and you want to toss it over, I'm happy to take a look. I'm happy to build reports right here for you. I'm always looking for new ideas to build, so yeah, feel free. Love to be able to help you out as much as I can on your journeys. No, okay. Australia is next, but let me get the times here, or the dates. So we have March 7th, 03, 07, 2024 through 0309 2024. TypeErrorDev says, kind of off topic, kind of off topic, but kind of on topic. How do you prioritize cleaning the data? Do you clean as it becomes an issue, or do you start with cleaning first? I feel like I've been doing this for general information. I've been doing data for about 14 years. And I find that it kind of changes with every project, but I try to watch out for going on like a data cleansing rampage. To be very clear, I feel that data should be cleaned before it ever makes it to production. I don't want to be cleaning data inside production. It should be cleaned in sort of a staging area, and that's kind of what we're using Excel for right now, is as a sort of staging area, just so I can make sure everything looks okay before pushing it into SQL Server. But sometimes you just kind of have to clean as you go, as far as like small little mistakes or things that just don't end up working. Sometimes I'll clean as I go. Generally speaking, I try to prioritize it before I ever tackle any visualizations. While I'm on these streams, that's not always possible, because I'm trying to get from a blank canvas to a finished report in the span of like 2 hours. And that's usually a challenge. I could spend 6 hours cleansing a data set if I really needed to. But sometimes you'll discover that the data is not super clean as you're building your Power BI report. And that's not always fun, but that's the way it works out sometimes. So let's go ahead and answer your question instead of just going off on a tangent. I would prioritize it before it ever makes it to a production table. Sometimes that's not always possible. And sometimes you end up realizing that the data is not as clean as you're trying to do something with the data. Like the dumbest analogy ever could be putting clean socks in a drawer. Are you going to check it for holes, or do you realize that you have holes as you're trying to put on your sock to put on a shoe? If I checked every single sock for holes as I did my laundry, I would probably spend way too much time doing laundry, whereas sometimes you'll end up having to catch it as you're putting the sock on. It's probably the worst analogy I can think of, but yeah. Or, if you have food in the refrigerator, do you check each item every time you open the refrigerator? Or do you realize your milk is not fantastic as you go to pour it? That sort of thing. There we go. That's clear as muddy water, I'm sure. Sorry, TypeErrorDev, sorry. All right, next round is round 3, and that is Australia. This is Albert Park. TypeErrorDev says that's actually a pretty good analogy. I'll take it. I'll take any sort of compliment you're willing to throw my way, because I was realizing as I was saying that it was probably dumb. So yeah, thanks for that. That's the morale boost I needed today. Australia is the country, and the from date is 3/22/2024 through 3/24/2024. Settle in, folks. This is a bit of a long one, I'm realizing. 07, no, it's March 7th is Saudi Arabia. I already did that. Japan is next, round 4. This is April 5th, so 04/05 2024, and I'm putting that in a completely wrong place. There we go. There's live data cleansing for you. 04/07. It's so confusing because they just have the days here, so I'm thinking like 05-07 is May 7th when it's really April 5th through April 7th. So this is probably not the best website to use, but it's all I have right now as far as the rounds information goes. So we have Japan here, and that's Suzuka, Japan. All right, round 5. How do we streamline this, folks? I'm sure I'll go into like a particular groove, or something like that, but not right now. Shanghai, China is 04/19 2024, 04/21 2024. TypeErrorDev says, haha, then again, I've only been doing it for a few months now. But yeah, like you said, if you go on a cleaning rampage, you'll spend more time cleaning than dev, and there goes your time. I mean, there are entire jobs dedicated to that. If you are a ETL administrator or an ETL developer, for example, your job is to make sure that the data is imported from wherever the source is, imported cleanly, and makes it to production, or staged, aligned how it needs to be, and makes it to prod. You can also be a data quality analyst or a data quality manager, data quality, whatever title you want, and your job is making sure that the data is clean. If you have a big enough team, sure, that can just be one person's job, and everyone else can kind of worry about the dev side or the BI side. Usually if you're a BI developer, at least when you're starting, you might be focused on whatever reporting tool, and the data already happens to be there by the time you work with it. And that's the case for a lot of BI developers. I just happen to have covered all facets of the data space because I started as a SQL analyst, moved into BI. Now I'm a manager of a data team and an architect. I was a database administrator for a while. So I just happen to know all the different areas, and I happen to be able to do all of them. So that's the only reason I'm doing this. But when you're working with a team, it's very possible that just one or two people are in charge of cleaning the data, and by the time you get to it, it's already good to go. And if you find something, it's usually their job to fix it. Here, it's just kind of I'm here with like my harmonica here and tapping on the cymbals and the drums and kicking the drums with my feet and playing the trumpet with a bagpipe or something, because I'm kind of a one-man show here, so that's why I'm doing everything. All right, round 6. May, we're in May. Okay, so 05, 03. For some reason I'm like so inclined to put the dates in this one here. What should I do here? What should I do? Is there a more streamlined? So this needs to go all the way down to 24, right? We already know that. So let's just push this all the way down to 24, like that. Nope, maybe 2 more. Okay, so there's to 24. Then maybe if we just do track and country and then we go back and do the dates, maybe that's going to be quicker. So let's try that. We have Shanghai, China. We have Miami, USA. We have Imola in Italy. Maybe this will work. Imola in Italy. We have Monaco in Monaco. We have Montreal, or Gilles Villeneuve, I think it's the official name, but we'll just say Canada. Until Canada gets a second race, I'm sure they have one at some point, but until they get a second race now, I'm just not going to bother with it. This is Barcelona, or Catalunya in Spain. This is Red Bull Ring. Who can forget Red Bull Ring in Austria? Down under, as they say, for Austria, right? Silverstone in Great Britain. Hungaroring. That's also one of my favorite tracks in Hungary. It is very challenging, and I'm terrible at I sim race. For anyone who doesn't know, I'm also an avid sim racer, which means I'm terrible at sim racing, but I really enjoy it. And my last stream last weekend was actually me taking sim racing telemetry data that I got with the sim racing telemetry app, and using that in a Power BI report. That was a lot of fun. If you're watching this on YouTube, the link is going to be right there if I remember to make a card for it. But that was a lot of fun, and if you'd rather see like lots of data work instead of me just going around in Excel for 20 minutes, check out that video. It was a lot of fun to build, and Looking forward to building more of those. All right, next is, did I go down or up? Yeah, I went down. Am I, this is the, using a Windows machine, but on a Mac means your scrolling is all over the place. I'm trying to find the next rounds, and I'm doing a very bad job of that. Okay, here, Belgium and Netherlands. Okay, so Spa and Belgium. Zandvoort. Zandvoort is 100% my favorite track. It's so much fun. It feels like a roller coaster, especially in VR. If you haven't tried Spa and Zandvoort in VR, you are missing out, friends. It is a very enjoyable. Netherlands. Round 16 is somewhere in Italy based on the flag. Yep. Okay, Italy. And that is Monza. Because I think we already did them a lot. Yep, Monza, Italy. Then we have Baku in Azerbaijan. I can spell that. There we go. Okay. 18 is Singapore. I don't know what the track is called, so I'll just use Singapore for both until they get a second track. That's what I'm using. No offense to anyone from Singapore. I just don't know what the track name is, but I'll put it correct before I put it in the report. I promise. This is just Excel. This is CODA, Circuit of the Americas in USA. Next we have Hermanos Rodriguez in Mexico. Then we have Interlagos in Brazil. We have Vegas in USA. We have Qatar, and we have Abu Dhabi. Yas Marina in Abu Dhabi. Actually, the country is UAE, so I'll do UAE because I think that's how I did it before. Okay, now are we working our way backwards for the dates since we're already down here? Yeah, let's give it a shot just to get it working. Okay, 12/06 2024 through, that was 12/05/08 2024. So let's try that again. 12/06, and maybe this will be out of sync enough to keep me focused and sharp. Okay, 11/29 2024 through 12/01 2024. That's really bad. 12/01 2024. There we go. All right, 11/21 2024 through 11/23 2024 for Vegas. Let's keep going here. Brazil. 11/1 2024 through 11/3 2024. And technically I could just say column the from date is all I need, and I just add 2 days to the from date. But knowing me and my luck, I'll do that, and then one of them will be like 5 days or something weird, and it'll be completely off, so I'll just do it manually. Here we have 10/25 2024. That's 23, 10/25 2024 through 10/27 2024. And we have CODA 10/18. That's coming up next weekend. I enjoy watching CODA. I don't enjoy racing it. It's not my style of track. 10/20. No, this is 9/20. 9/20 for Singapore. Yeah, 9/20 to 9/22 2024. Wow, that's a big gap. Was it really that much? September 20th, and then the next one is yeah, wow, almost a month. Wow, no wonder I've been like sim racing and doing all sorts of racing stuff. In my streams, I'm I'm just missing Formula One. Okay, next September 13th, so 9/13/2024 and 9/15/2024. That's 25. Okay. Italy is 08/30/2024 through 09/01/2024. Should have probably collected these before the stream, but then you wouldn't get to see how painful and boring it is sometimes to do this. And I wanted you to get the full experience. So here we are. But sometimes this is the type of work that you need. Like maybe you need a break from like thinking so hard and you just want to do this. Make your own data. So hopefully my goal here is to push both of these data sets, the 23 and the 24 one, to Kaggle. And maybe someone else can, maybe that can save someone else time. If you're watching this, you're already going to see this or if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see this in the Google Drive. And of course, if you're on Twitch now, eventually I'm going to put this on Google Drive as well when I publish the video. So you will have access to this. You don't have to build it yourself. I'm going through the trouble so you don't have to. 07/28/2024. It'd be nice if I stopped babbling and got the data we need to. Okay, I made a mistake here. This is Zandvoort's dates that I used, so I'm glad I caught that now. It would have been very confusing. 08/23/2025 through 08. Nope, I did it again, didn't I? I'm talking too much. 8/23/2024 through 8/25/2024. Okay, there we go. It's just the gaps on these are so big sometimes. Like this is almost a month again. This was summer break, I think, right after Spa, if I'm not mistaken. So it just seems weird. I'm in like this muscle memory zone and I just get thrown off completely. Okay, 09/07/19/2024 through 07/21/2024 for Hungaroring. Good. Silverstone was 07/05/2024 through 07/07/2024. Oh man, we're almost there. Okay, Austria was 06/28/2024 through 06/30/2024. That is wrong. 06/28/2024. There we go. Barcelona. 06/21/2024 through 06/23/2024. 06/07/2024 through 06/09/2024. And we'll be able to double check these and just make sure that they lasted 2 days, or 2 days in SQL Server and in Excel, right? We'll just be able to do a quick date diff and just check my math, make sure there's nothing like that's 370 days or something instead. Monaco, 05/24/2024 through 05/26/2024. We're almost there. 05/17/2024 through 05/19/2024. And last one, Miami, 05. I could not make it this year. I tried to make it last year. Or I did make it last year. I went on a trip with my brother and my nephew. It was super fun. And I tried to go this year, but it just didn't work out. Maybe next year we can go. 05/05/2024. All right. We are done. We're done. So where do we go from here? If you're in Power BI, like technically speaking, you could just copy all this. And I think like if you'd rather work in Power BI, you can actually just, I want to say, enter data. Does that work? And just pasting it here. I want to say this works. Yeah. Like if you want to do it just in Power BI, look, I just hit paste here, like Control V, and it worked. So technically speaking, if you're just in Power BI and you did it in Excel, you gathered all your data, just push it through into Power BI like this if you want to. It'll just be a manual table. I'm going to go through the work of putting this into SQL Server because I already have it set up in SQL Server. What does this mean? It means that all I have to do is load it into SQL Server and then refresh this report, and everything should kind of flow. So that's why I'm doing it the long way around, I guess you could say. All right, so what am I going to do now? Now I'm going to export this as a CSV and then load it into SQL Server because I can't just copy and paste into here, unfortunately. No. Let me show you a trick that I use every now and then. All right, this is going to be weird, but bear with me. Okay, we have the track ID. Okay, this is the country. Latitude and longitude. We don't need these. Where do we need to go? We need to go to whatever the view is using, which is this journeys. Where is it? Where is it? Is it tracks, places, events? I think this is what I was trying to do. Water break. All right, we're back. I think. Hopefully I don't need my inhaler. It seems like I might. So let's go to, you could check out my keyboard for a little bit. Okay, I think I'm back. Inhaler worked, I want to say. Did it? We'll see. We'll see in a couple minutes. All right, let's get back to it. Okay, so this round here, F1 round, that's one I want to put. And then we have the track, we have the country, and we have the calendar year. So let's see if we can organize this a little bit so we can try to shove it into this table. Now, how would I do that? First, I'm going to start with event ID 24. I'm going to make a new column here to the left and just call this event ID. And again, I just want to continue this from last year into this year. So we have our start date, which I guess I did too much work in getting the to date. That's okay. TypeErrorDev says, what shortcuts are those on the pad? Let's go back. Let's go back to that view. Do you mean, TypeErrorDev, do you mean that pad right here, or do you mean the number pad perhaps? Is there another? I also have a couple like macro style pads. Maybe that's what you're talking about, but I'm assuming you mean this stream deck. I'm hoping you do. So if you mean the stream deck, here I'm just controlling the different parts of this stream. You can actually use it for like SQL Server or Power BI if you have certain shortcuts, or just opening applications like Power BI, SSMS, a bunch of other stuff. You can just click these buttons and it'll do that. Hopefully that's what you mean. Oh, the mouse pad. The mouse pad. Oh, okay. This is a gift from a friend, and it's basically just a ton of different shortcuts for different applications. We have Excel, Office over here on the left. This is Word. Last basic tools for, I guess, like Photoshop. Just documents. I honestly, I don't read it, but I thought it was really cool, and she knows I like mouse pads a lot, so she got me this really big one, I think for my birthday a couple years ago, I want to say. So yeah, this is a really nice mouse pad. I really like it a lot. Sorry for the confusion there. Didn't realize you were talking about the mouse pad. It just seems like it's out of it's part of the landscape. I don't really reference it too much, but yeah. thank you. Okay, so let's do a quick shortcut here to get the data into SQL Server easily from Excel. And basically what I want to do is set up the Excel document in the same sort of style as the table. TypeErrorDev says, oh, that's cool. I think you can find it on Amazon. I think it's maybe like 20 bucks. I like extra large mouse pads. That's my thing. I don't like to be on the bare desk. And it doesn't matter if I'm like at the office. I work at home, but if I'm at the office, then I like to have mouse pads just because I don't like the feeling of the desk. That's why I have this like let's see if I can, this wrist rest as well. And normally, let me go get it actually, because I don't have it on right now. But normally I have that too, which is the Delta Hub, not sponsored, but Delta Hub wrist rest for your mouse. It just glides a lot smoother and it's way better for your wrist on your mouse. And this wrist rest right here is, I think, from Logitech, designed for their keyboards but works with anything else. So yeah, I'm a huge fan of different gadgets and different things that'll help me do my job better, or at least give me a better experience while I'm developing, because I do this for a long time every day and even on the weekends, right? So ElsyBot says, nice, thank you. Yeah, I collect different gadgets and different peripherals. So I want to share as many of them as possible. It's just I have way too many keyboards and way too many mice, so it's just gonna have to be one per video or something like that. Steam Deck pedal is also a really good addition. I just got that last weekend, and I can mute myself with the tap of a foot. For those not familiar with the Steam Deck pedal, it just has 3 buttons on it, and it's basically an extension of your Stream Deck. So I'm able to use that to just like mute myself, or I think volume up, volume down on the music is what I have right now. But there's some really creative uses for it. Really cool stuff. Okay. Location info. Yes. Location info. I'm going to shove this data off to the side a bit because it seems like we don't really need it, but I just want to have it there just in case. It looks like we need an event ID, which we will start with 25, right? We want to start with 25. Or do we want to start with the HQ, which is technically, I think it might have to start with HQ. How did we start last time? Okay, we started with Bahrain as testing. So that's what we want to do again, right? Event ID 25 is going to be the testing. There we go. Okay, then we have 26 and 27, and then we'll just use Excel's mighty powers to just give us all the event IDs. Now the round, that is going to stay as round 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. because these are rounds on a yearly basis. Round 5 is always just round 5. It's not like, you know, since Formula 1 started, since 1950, it says on my shirt. I don't know if you could, no, you can't see my shirt. This is like a vintage Formula 1 shirt with like the weirdest collar I've ever had in my life. This collar is like a foot wide, but it says since 1950 there, so I'm thinking Formula 1 has been around since 1950. Okay, where am I? F1 round, there we go. Okay, the track ID, that is something that I don't have, but the track ID is always consistent with all of my data. All the tracks have an ID no matter what year it was. So I think I can say track ID 1 here. Just reading from the left side where I have all my track IDs, the only one I need to input is China. That's the only new one that we have, right? So we'll just we'll get there when we get there. Jeddah, we can see Saudi Arabia is ID 2. So I'll just put in 2 here. Albert Park, Australia is ID 3. Suzuka is Japan. Where's Japan? Right here, track ID 17. So here's where things start changing a bit. Okay, China's track ID 24, I want to say. Let's just go look at the tracks. Let's go ahead and kill that one. We don't need it. I don't want to get to the point where I open up a billion SQL windows, which I already have quite a few. We don't want to do that. 24, as I thought. Okay, 24. Miami. Where's Miami? USA. 5. This will get tricky here when you have just a country. So just be careful with that. Imola is track 6. Monaco is track 7. Spain is track 8. So why don't we do that? Why don't we fill it out here on the right as we go down the list here? That might be easier. Okay, so let's do that. Where's Spain here? 8. Nope, that's 7. 8. And then Red Bull Ring. No, it's Canada. Man, I already went back on what I said my plan was. That's really inconsistent. Okay, Austria, 10. Great Britain, right here, 11. Hungary, 12. Belgium, Spa, 13. Zandvoort is 14. Luckily, I mean, they kept pretty much the same order, so that's good. 16 is Singapore, so we'll fill it out right there. Baku, where are you? Was number 4 last year. USA, what, this control is like in my way. Okay, Coda is 19. Vegas was the last one last time, or one of the last ones, so I know that's Vegas. Hermano Rodriguez in Mexico, that is 20. Brazil's 21. Vegas is 22. Qatar again. No, we never had it last year. Is that a new track? No, it's right here, 18. And Yas Marina. There we are. Now we have all the data we need, right? Let's see. Event ID. There it is. Round. There it is. Track ID. There it is. The track is the only thing we don't need, so let's get rid of that guy too. The country. And the from date. Now, TypeErrorDev was talking about data cleaning earlier. The last thing I want to do is import this data and find out that I got something wrong in the name of the country. So you can see right here it pops out USA is actually United States, and there's 3 of them, so I have to make sure those are good. UAE is the full United Arab Emirates. Brazil, I got right. I used the S both times instead of the Z. Japan, Singapore, Italy, Belgium, Netherlands, Hungary. Hungary's good. Great Britain, Austria. The rest of them are pretty easy to get, so I think we are good to go. I think we're good to go. Why is this? I thought I had like a testing round before. There we go. Okay, that was odd, but I think we're good now. Okay, so how do I get this data into SQL Server easily? Again, you can export this as a CSV and load it into SQL Server. If you want to practice that, please be my guest. That's absolutely fine. I'm going to try to see if I can use a little bit of a trick. And that is, man, there's so many tricks I could use, but I think the easiest one for me to use would be using Excel to build an insert statement. So I'm going to say equals insert into, and then I'll have the full name of the table. Like that, and then I'll say, is it plus or and? I can't remember what it is with Excel. Let me just type hello here just to see what it does. Like what the value becomes. Okay, yeah, it's and. Okay, so and space, and then oh god, I'll say event ID right here. This whole thing. Let's see if I can get rid of all this spacing. I don't need the spacing, at least not here in my Excel venture that I'm doing. So I'll keep the space like that. And then another space. And let's see what that looks like. Is it like wrong? Does it say it's wrong? Yeah. What's wrong with it? Oh, I forgot the and. And. Okay, like that. So when I copy it over, this is what it looks like. Insert into my table. I need the parentheses right before. So parentheses before and a closing parentheses. That's what I need. Okay, so copy that and put it over here. I mean, depending on how much data you're pulling, this might actually take you longer than just doing it the normal way, but I'm trying to try this out, see if it works. Okay. Then we have and then the values. The values are going to be interesting here. Then we have this A2 and comma and this B2 and comma and C2. God, what? This was a mistake. And can I do like C2? No, let's just keep going. Space and another comma. I'm wondering if I can just like do a alt enter to separate some of these like that. Yeah, that seems like a better idea. Alt enter, at least to separate some of the commas. Wow, what a mistake, friends. Don't try this at home. ElsyBot says, gotta go to work. Looking forward to seeing some updates on YouTube. Thanks, bro. Great to see you. Thank you so much for stopping by. Really appreciate you. This is going to be a long one, so I will put chapters in here for the YouTube version, so feel free to use those to scroll around. So thank you so much. I will see you next time, ElsyBot. Take care. Okay, for all we need, so we have the country, right? That's good. Oh, no. This is an issue. This is an issue right here. D2 is a country, and we can see it. But what happens to the value? Look, 25 and 0 and 1 are okay, but look, it says 1 Bahrain. We can't have that. First and foremost, we need a comma for this, right? Between B2, it's B2, C2. Oh, between C2 and D2, we need a comma, first and foremost. So let's put a comma in here. And comma, and then another and. That fixes that, but we still have another issue. So let's see what it fixes. Okay, now it gives us 1 comma Bahrain, but Bahrain needs to be in single quotes. It doesn't, you can't just put the text Bahrain there. It'll think it's a column or a keyword that you're trying to select or something like that. So we got to make sure that we do this the right way, and we got to make sure that we have single quotes. So I can actually cheat a little bit and put it in the same string as the comma. So now when I do that, now I'll have Bahrain in single quotes. So there's Bahrain in single quotes, and then the from date, that's easy too. I use the same exact methodology that I use for Bahrain. I'll just copy this and I'll enter and paste it. But instead of C2 and D2, all I need is F2 right here. And then no extra comma, just the end quote. What is it doing? It just went to 0. It's all that work, and then I just got 0 out of it. All right, let's see if it's something that I messed up at the bottom here. I wish, does anyone know how to open this formula bar a lot bigger? I could have sworn. You have the ability. Oh, is it here? Yeah, it looks like it. All right. Let me just delete this last line because I obviously did something very not smart there. So let's see what it looks like right now. Okay, barring with an extra comma. Great. So now I just need to add, man, and now we add a single quote. No, we don't have to add a single quote. We add comma, single quote here, and E2, and close the single quote. Did that work? And why did I spend so much time doing that? Of course it didn't work, because it's trying to use the value literally instead of as a date. How do I change the date here? Man, Excel, you never cease to like frustrate me. And this is why I'm terrible at Excel. If you hadn't noticed, I just want to make sure that that's very clear. What? I'm not trying to insert a function. I'm just trying to make this a date. Come on, Excel. Don't make me look dumb here. All right, general. We're going to go to short date. And that works. So does this actually do anything for me? Let's see. When I paste it, no. So all that was for nothing. Pretty sure. Super. Because the whole date thing, unless I can do like a to date. Let's see. Is there like a date function? No. Format maybe? As mm dash dd slash yyy. Why am I even trying this? Yeah, no, it's like I'm super unhappy right now. Format, is it in text? And then I get rid of this. This was a mistake. This was a mistake. Don't do it this way. Very obviously. To text, convert. Oh my God, this is just terrible. All right, so what are we gonna do instead? We're just gonna do this the old-fashioned way. If you ever watch this and you have a better way to do that I can do it in Excel, let me know. But the dates ruined everything. Of course they ruined everything. So now I'm just gonna see if I can do one last-ditch effort to make this simpler. And what I'll do is paste everything here. Okay, all right. This is gonna be good enough, I think. This is gonna be good enough. SQL Server has its ways. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is just tab everything out for the dates. I don't know why I'm trying to do everything possible to avoid importing this using the SQL Server import wizard, which is honestly fantastic to use. It's a great import wizard. You could also just export to CSV and use PowerShell to do this instead. Again, I'm not certain why I'm going through so much trouble to give myself more work. But here we are. I'm going to hold Alt and I'm going to highlight downward and I'll just insert a single quote. I would be able to do that if Excel had converted things correctly. I'd be able to do it on the right side as well. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and do it anyway, and then just clear any of the gaps I have. But of course, Excel is super inconsistent in the way it lets me write dates, even though I tried with like 0 before the month. This is quote unquote simple enough, so I'm happy to do it this way. Okay, and then I'm just going to put a comma right here. Comma. Oh, this is where it gets annoying. So I can put it here, I can put the string there like that, and but I have to add string close and comma here to each one of these. What am I doing? And in the process, I'm like messing up names and stuff. Don't do this at home, kids. This is not the way to go. Hopefully I don't have to do this another time today, but if I do, I'll just use the import wizard. I'm not sure what I was trying to prove, but it didn't work. Okay, so now I can just put commas in front of everything. So I'll put a comma in front of this. I'll put a comma in front of this. Put a comma in front of this number, and put a parentheses start in front of this guy. And then we can put a closing parentheses right here at the end. Does that work? Yeah. All right, so now I can say select star from values, and oh man, what is this whole like, I hate the way values is presented in SQL Server. As a, let's see, I do not like doing it this way, so I won't. Okay, what I'm gonna do is instead I'm just gonna build a bunch of insert statements. So remember the insert statement that we built up here, this insert into the table and all the columns? I'm just gonna take this and I'm just gonna build it right here. I'm just gonna add it right here to the front using the Alt key. I'm just gonna paste, and now we have a bunch of insert statements, and then I'll just pop a space and say values, and there we go. All the insert statements are built. Some reason this one's giving me trouble now. Oh, it's because I had extra commas. Get rid of this as a, and we are good. Wow, there are more columns in the insert statement. Oh my god. Then values specified in the where clause. Is it because of the event ID? Event ID, round, track ID. Oh, event calendar year. Oops, I forgot that one. So let me go ahead and add that. This is all 2024. And then I get to close. There we go. All right, so now we should be good. I'm gonna go ahead and insert these values. It inserted them successfully. And now when I query the table, I'm gonna do a Control KY there to format the data. And now we are good to go. We have all of the dates that we need. This does not look right. 2022 9/20. I hope that's the only one I messed up on. So this is where we can do our checks, like how far away is each of these dates from like today, for example. So let's do that. So here we can say DATEDIFF of days from today to start date. Yeah, as we'll call this DATEDIFF days, whatever. Oh, it's day, not days. All right, there we go. So we should see sort of a gradual decrease because this was 2023 season. We'll probably see an outlier here. See this minus 753? Let's do something even more interesting, which is I'm going to use this in a graph bar. Now, how do I make a little quick graph bar? All I have to do, like if I want to represent the data in a visual perspective, even here in SSMS, I can use the replicate function and not turn up the music super loud. Sorry, that's what my Stream Deck does, I guess. Okay, replicate, and I'll use a vertical bar. And then how many times do I want to replicate the vertical bar? That many times, whatever the DATEDIFF is. And then we should be good there. DATEDIFF bars is what we'll call this. And now, it doesn't work. Why? Oh, because it's negative. Okay, so the negative ones don't work. So all I have to do is multiply this by -1, or let's be sneaky. I'll do the absolute value of that one. So all these negative ones, they'll turn into positives, right? With the absolute value. So there we are. Now, this is going to be very wide. Here we go. Negative 597 is represented here, but you can see all the bars sort of getting smaller and smaller. And then you can see this big one. So this, for data quality checks, this is probably one of the easiest ways you can do that. This one is supposed to be a bit smaller than Azerbaijan, but it's obviously not. So let's fix it. Now, just to fix it, here in, what is this table? The events table. I'm honestly just going to go ahead and do an edit top 200. Haven't done that one in a while. So we'll just fix this 2022. We'll just fix it to 2024 and press tab and enter. And now it is commit. So now when I rerun this, now we can see that it goes very small right here and then gets bigger again because there's that many days left. So you can tell we are right around here right now, which we're between Singapore and United States today with today's date. So that's a quick way to just check your data visually, even in SSMS or Oracle SQL Developer, MySQL Workbench, that sort of thing. Okay, great. So what was the point of all that? It was just to get all of the data into place. And let's take a look again at what the view uses. The view uses location info journeys. Location info journeys, that's the important part. If we go ahead and just refresh our Power BI report, we'll start to see some oddities go on because our data is already updated in the SQL Server. So let's take a look at what that looks like. It might not be pretty. Maybe like the location summary might have some new stuff. What is it? What table is it that I went ahead and updated with this insert stuff that I did? Location info events. So what uses events? Does anything use events? Tracks, event summary probably uses events. Okay, there's events by month, and now we can see even up to 2025. There's an event in 2025. This is, again, we were discussing this earlier with data quality, and sometimes it just won't make it past my initial checks. But Power BI is a pretty good data checker while you're building reports. Something doesn't look right. I was expecting April 2023. I was not expecting anything in 2025. So if I just click that, what I'll see is that my report will update to show me which one it was. There's United Arab Emirates. And it just means I missed a 12 or something. There's the start date. Does it? Or does it not? Do I have any 25s in here? It doesn't. So I was expecting this one to be the one. Or is it? No. That looks wrong. 1/31/2025. There's an event there. No, there's not, but okay. So how do I find this record, this mystery record? First, I'm going to go to the events by month, and I'm just going to take a look at what's going on here. Start month. The start month is January. But the reality is that's not, it's the start dates month. Location info events start dates month. So it's the end of the month for location start date. Let's see. The start date is 12/6. Let's find out. Let's just use the standard where clause and say where the year of start date is 2025. Do we get any records? We don't. So what's going on? Why is it finding this? So all I'm going to do is just put together a table. I'm just going to open up a new page here, and I'm just going to find whatever the start month is. When I copy out over this visual, I still get that January 2025, and I just want to know in a table what record is giving me that. Right, so I'm gonna say I want the event ID, I want the F1 round, I want the country, and I want the start month and the start date. What's going on with those? So right here you can see this whole like hierarchy thing. I'm just gonna kill that using a right click on start month and just switching it to start month, and then again doing it for start date, same thing. Now again, let's go to this record. Let's filter it only. The start month is 1/31/2025 from a start date. It seems to me like we got that function wrong the last time I did it. So what does end of month actually do for us? And why is it adding 1? If I change this to add 0, does this, yeah, I guess it was like adding 1 month. So that's something from last time that I actually missed. Yeah, okay, now we're good. Start month 2024 12/31. So now we're okay. I'm glad I was able to fix that. I'm gonna add a small comment here that says fixed from prior version, which used 1 as the final argument for no reason other than I mistyped it, I guess. Or maybe I just copied up off of somewhere. But now when I go back to my event summary, I can see that we're good to go. Now, if you're a fan of having every single month explicitly shown, like without having to do this whole dynamic thing and trying to see which month we're talking about, all you gotta do is click right here on the visual, and then go to the visualizations area, and you'll see the format this visuals sort of icon. Then we'll go to the x-axis, and instead of the continuous type, we're just going to make it categorical. So now you can see every single one. As you can see, there's not a lot of space. So I'm going to raise the maximum height up to maybe like 30. And maybe we'll see a little bit more. Maybe change the font size to be a little bit smaller. Maybe that will help, but really it's not looking good. Crappa24 says hello, thank you. It's really what I need to understand. Great, thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. If you have any other questions, feel free to let me know. If you're curious about anything, I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have as well. I'm happy that this really helps. And yeah, this will be shared with anyone who goes over to the YouTube channel later on. So if you go to let me put up my socials here. If you go to my YouTube channel and you subscribe there, you'll be notified when I post the video. This video will probably be either midweek or next weekend, and it'll have the Google Drive link, or you can just contact me at sqldevdba.com as well, and you'll have the updated version of this report, of all the data around it, that sort of thing. So it looks like we're running out of space here, but if you look, it's starting to creep up like 12 o'clock, and it's like we don't really need a time, at least not for this visual. So what's going on here? It looks like the start month that we're using for the x-axis, that looks like it's like a full date. And you see the format up here. When I click it over here on the right, it's like a format. And so what I want to do is get rid of the time. I don't really need the time. We're just going to do a short date here. And now we can see that we're given a lot more space. And so if you want to represent every single month, which, you know, it's not a bad idea right now to do so. Again, I'll pop this back to what it looks like without that. If I just switch this to continuous. Some people prefer it like this, but other people don't want to have to hover around every single one to see. It's just preference, whatever you like. I prefer it the other way, but I'll leave it this just because it seems like it's a little bit cleaner. So I'll leave that. Okay, so we got a couple things here. One of the things I was expecting to get was more of these journeys, but I realized I haven't input them yet. So I'm going to need to do that now. Okay, so to input the journeys, I'm going to take a look at the view that is being used for the source. And I think this might be the last thing I have to update before the report just comes to life. So location info journeys. Let's take a look at that table again. That's the data warehouse looking one, right? This guy right here. And let's just... Okay, I'm going to go ahead and make a code section here so I can give you all this code into Google Drive, but it won't affect anything I do anymore. So hopefully I'll remember that code. It's sort of towards the bottom. Okay, so what am I going to do here? Here I need to add the journeys for the new calendar year, right? That's basically what I need to do this time. I need to add the journeys. So how do I do that? Well, I'm going to start with an insert statement. So I'm going to say insert into the new table. And the values I want to insert are the journey ID, the from location ID, the to location ID, the to location type, and the from event ID for sure, to event ID, and the raised calendar year, which is still not coming up in my IntelliSense. If you have SQL prompt and it's not doing it for you, you just go to SQL prompt up here, you refresh the suggestions. This is again only if you have SQL prompt. If you have regular SSMS without SQL prompt, you can just hit Control-Shift-R and hopefully that'll come up for you. So raised calendar year, there it is. Okay, so now I'm just gonna go ahead and format this using Control-KY. And again, oh, I was gonna, be all elitist here and say again, it's only gonna work if you have a SQL prompt, but I just made myself look foolish there. So let's see if now it'll do it. Now that I have a valid select statement. There it is. Okay, I do have a valid select statement, so that's good. Now I get rid of this one. And here what I want to insert are some values. So the journey ID will be 25, or the next number available. Let's make sure that our table doesn't have identities either, right? There is no identity right here. And just as a quick note, all of this says varchar 500. I can tell that this was like a mass import of some sort, whether it be from DBA Tools that likes to do varchar 5. DBA Tools likes to do varchar 8000 or like 4000, so it's probably not DBA Tools, but this was probably me using the import wizard or something. You can tell this is a staging table, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, I prefer to have my columns be correct data types, but looks like here that's where we are right now, so that's okay. It still works. Okay, so what am I gonna do here? Should I build this out in Excel and just copy it over like I did? I think when I copied from Excel into here, that went really quick. So I think that's what we're gonna do. Let's pop open Excel again. My personal favorite tool, right? Excel. Let's pop that up. Oh, and we shrunk the wrong window there. Let's see, does that still work? Yeah, it sure does. All right, come on, Excel. There we go. There we go. Okay, so let's do this again. Journey ID from location ID to location ID. Technically speaking, I might be able to just copy this with headers, like copy one row with headers, copy with headers, and it'll paste it for me. Yeah, there we go. I'm too lazy to write out column names, as you can see. All right, cool. I just erase all this. And now we have journey ID 25. And this is from location ID 0, which is again FIAHQ. That's okay. To location ID 1. Now these locations, I don't know if I have locations. I don't know if I have the locations set up. So where are we going with this? We need to see the view again. I'll find it, I promise. Okay. This location info journeys looks to location info places on the location ID. So I need to make sure that in location info places, I have the data I need. Is it in here? Nope. Oh, it is. It is. I just have to add China to this. Okay. Okay. We can do this. All right. So what I'm going to do instead is just copy this and put it sort of over here. Did I not do that correctly? Let's go over here and Control Z. I can just copy it. Control C and Control V. There we go. Okay. From location to location. So why do I need that? Well, it's because the location IDs might be different than the track IDs. I don't think they are, but they might be. So I want to make sure that we're okay there. So when I have my from location, that's from location 0, which is Team HQ or FIHQ, to location 1. And that is track 1, which is Bahrain. So that is, we are good to go there. That's our first trip. Then there's a second journey, which is for round, technically it's for round 2, not for round 1. So we go from, let's just do this as a, let's just do this as a clear and concise way of communicating this. So I'm gonna grab the countries and I'm just gonna paste them right down here. And actually, I'm gonna remove Bahrain to track. I'm just gonna name that to track for now, and you'll see what I mean here. So we're saying from location 0, which is FIHQ, to location Bahrain. That's journey number 1, or journey 25. Then we want journey number 26 to be from Bahrain to Saudi Arabia. So from location 1 to location 2, which is Saudi Arabia, as you can see here on the left side. Then from Saudi Arabia to Australia. So from location 2 to Australia, which is location 3. Now from Australia to Japan. So from 3 to Japan. So it's no longer the same as this. Now we have to find Japan's location, which is 17. So to location 17. And then from location 17 to location China, which is location 24. We just haven't added it yet. Let's go ahead and do that now. Okay, we're going to insert into. Ooh, this is getting interesting now, isn't it? And all these columns are the ones that we want to insert. And then we say values. And then location ID is 24. This is a track. This is Shanghai International Circuit. This is the country is China. And then I could have sworn we entered this already, but yeah, here it is right here. I just entered it into the track info, which maybe I just should have written this whole system better and it would have just reused that data, but here we are. We'll make it work. Okay, latitude and longitude. I just want to make sure that my query is set up correctly. We have our location ID. We have our location type, the location name, the country, latitude and longitude. Let's insert that and be good to go. There we are. Okay, so now we are back. Okay, so 24. I just wanted to take care of that really quick because it's important to me and I didn't want to mess it up and miss it later on. Okay, so from 24, from China to the US, which is Miami. So location ID 5. From 5 to Italy, Imola. So that's 6. Good. Now we're kind of going back. From 6 to Monaco, which is 7. From 7 to Spain? Nope. From Monaco to Canada. And Canada was, I got this, 7 to 9. From 9 to Spain, which is Barcelona, which is 8. Ooh, this is very interesting. From 8 to Austria, which is 10. So the interesting thing about this is, like, last year, it was just, 0, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, because that's how I designed it. That's all I needed at that time. I was just working with 1 year. Now, the FIA and Formula One have gone and just rearranged the order. So now I'm sure they were thinking of me and how they could make my life impossible when they were doing it, right? I'm sure I matter to one of the biggest organizations in the world and what I could do, or how to give me more work. No. But anyway, if their data team is working on anything that's similar to this, they're going to run into the same issue. They rearranged the order. I'm sure they have a way more sophisticated way of doing it, but I've worked for some really large companies, and I can tell you that this is really the way that it ends up being done. Using what are called surrogate keys, or keys that have nothing to do with the data itself, is a very common thing. It's actually a best practice. And so I'm pretty sure that whoever's designing all the reporting or anything that has to do with the tracks and their data is probably went through this at some point as well, having to use odd stuff like this. Okay, from 10. Sorry, another tangent there. 11 to 11. So from 10 to 11, from 11 to Hungary, which is 12. From 12 to Belgium, 13. From 13 to Netherlands is 14. Yep, good. From 14 to Italy for Monza this time, which is where? 15. Good, okay, we're still in order. From 15 to Azerbaijan, which is not in order for sure. Baku was like 4 earlier. Yep, there we go. 15 to 4, then 4 to Singapore, which is 16. From 16 to US to Koda, which is 19. From 19 to Mexico, which is 20. Okay, that's good. 20 to Interlagos, which was 21. That's the same as last year. 21 to Vegas, which is 22. Yep. And then 22 to Qatar, which is completely different from last year. Where is Qatar? Last year's 18. 22 to 18, and then 18 finally to 23. All right, so there we are. Looks perfect. It looks like it's out of sequence, but really we defined the sequence. That's the cool thing about what we're doing right now, is we're defining the sequence. So I'm going to give these all IDs as well. Location type is to a track. So no, I don't want to replace it. Oh god, it's just the worst. Yeah, we're good. Let's take a look at the journeys from last year and just make sure that we got it right. It's from places. No, where's our journeys table, man? This is just a mess. Is it this one? No, this is events. I just gotta keep opening it up again. Here's the journeys. So I'm wondering if, like last year, they went ahead and went back to FIA-HQ, or if I said it went back to FHQ. Yeah, from 23 to 0. So we need one more, which is 23 to 0, and that is Team HQ. So it's actually 49 that we have. And then here, doesn't really matter. We don't need this. Oh wow, and the from event to the to event too. Man, I made my life very difficult for some reason. All right, well, let's try erase calendar year. At least we get to fill that out easily, right? It's just 2024 all the way down. So that's fine. Okay, from event ID to event ID. So we added some new events, right? Where are the events? Location info events. I think that was one of the ones that we added. Or if we haven't, we need to. No. Yeah, the events were the ones with the start date. Starting to get delusional. Okay. Here's where the events start. Round 0 is testing. So this is from 0 to 1 as well. This is 1 to 2. No, I don't want dates. Okay. Let me make sure my data types are okay here. Numbers. There we go. No, I don't want decimals. Oh man, come on, Excel. You were doing okay for a little while. Now it gives me 4 zeros. Okay, 0. Okay, from 0 to 1, from 1 to 2. I want to make sure I'm getting this right. From location 1 to location 2. Yeah. From event 2 to 3 is Saudi Arabia to Australia. Yes. 3 to 4. This is where I differ here. This is not the same. Now, these are just locations. These are from events. So from event ID 3, which is Australia here on the left, to event ID 4. No, that's wrong. That's wrong. I'm glad I caught this early on, because this is actually from event, the event ID. Okay, let's start again. From event ID 0 to event ID right here, 25. 25 to 26. 26 to 27. 27 to 28. 28 to 29. I think we're on that groove right now. So let me make sure. Event ID is event ID 28 is Japan. No, it's not. So I need to be very careful what I'm doing. Okay. To Bahrain is to event ID 25. 25. Oh, I missed testing. Let's just go straight to event 26 then. I missed testing. So 26 to 27. And now we should be okay. Let me delete these so I don't mess them up. Oh man. This is a good stuff to catch right now. Instead of like later, I'm just wondering what the heck is wrong with the Power BI report. 29 to 30. And there we are. Okay. So now China is event 30. Yes. Japan is event 29. Australia is event 28. Yeah, we're okay here now. Okay, so let's just keep going. 30 to 31. Let me do a few more of these and just make sure that they're okay, and then I'll just drop the list all the way down. 30 to 31 is US to the US. Okay, I think we're good. Let's just drop them. Like that. Oh, don't freeze on me, Excel. Come on. Come on. Don't do this. Oh, man. And I often get asked why I don't like Excel. It's so good. It's so good. Why would you not like it? Why would you not like Excel? It's because I'm stuck doing this, waiting for data or waiting for Excel, who has my data basically. Oh, hostage. Okay, there we go. It did it after a while. So should I just take this and paste it here? One level up. Yeah, I should do that. Okay, and then back to event 0, I think is how this works. We start at 0 and we end at 0. Let's see how it goes. Here's the journeys from 0 to 1, and then from 23 to 0. Yeah, that's exactly how I did it last year. Okay, so we're all good. We're good. We're good. Now we just take this data, and what do? We paste it here. We're just going to add it right here. So let's be smart about the way we do this. We're going to add commas here at the end, like that, using Alt and scroll, or Alt and highlight, just like this. Alt highlight, Alt highlight. Now this needs single quotes, so we'll do single quotes here at the end, and then here we'll add single quotes at the beginning, as well as a comma. So it'll be comma, single quote. And right here at the beginning, comma, again a comma. I should just make this bigger so I don't have to keep scrolling, right? Logic. All right, so here at the beginning, I don't need any commas. I just need an opening parentheses. And after the 24, I need a closing parentheses. Now you'll see that this looks a little weird. It's like red still. It's because I forgot my single quote right here. And now we're good. Now, what do I have to do? All I have to do is build an insert statement right here. So I just say, I'm just going to build the first line of the insert statement, which is insert into this table and all the columns I want to insert, which are all of these. Journey ID. Okay. Why don't I just do this, paste it here, and then get rid of that. Get rid of the spacing, and let's open this guy up a little bit. Hopefully we don't need Excel anymore. Oh man. We probably will. Who am I kidding? All right, so there's the first line of our, or the first part of our insert statement. Now we just take this whole thing and we paste it using, again, hold Alt. If you hold Alt, folks, and highlight, you can type in whatever you want and it'll show up for every single line that you do this for. Like if I wanted to say select star from X table, blah, 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 I can just keep typing and it'll go. But it also works for pasting. So I can just paste my entire insert statement here and then say space values, and I have a ton of insert statements ready to go. You don't need anything special for this, by the way. This is just SQL Server Management Studio does this. Notepad++ does it as well. You're free to use that to build these. Sometimes I do that instead. All right, so I think we're ready to run this. Let's make sure it parses, and go time. So now when we query this, look what we get. All the 24 data is here. And remember I said we needed to make sure that this 24 was here. So, sorry, we needed to make sure that the 23 was populated, because as soon as I add this 24, it becomes nearly impossible for me to tell the difference between the two. So I would have been stuck like trying to identify manually almost which ones were which. Maybe with the journey ID I would have been able to, right? That would have been fairly easy to do. But just don't get caught in a situation where you're having to update stuff without really knowing which is which. Okay, so that's done. The only thing that I'm reminded of now, we got the data we needed to make sure that the view works. I'm just gonna start closing stuff, y'all. I can't have all these tabs open. I do the same thing for my web browser. Oh God. And yeah, I need to make sure that I don't have so many open. Okay, this is the guy I need. So location info journeys, that's gonna pull from the new data that we just got. And then location info places, which is another one that we updated, that's gonna have the new data as well. But there's one thing missing. Location info journeys, it doesn't have a year column because the year didn't exist last time. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna add it as part of my select statement. LIJ.year, race calendar year. That's the one I want to add. Why? Because now it'll give me the ability to filter for it in Power BI. So let's see what that looks like here. First, as a select statement, before I go running it and updating the view in Power BI, we can see, and now we have all our 24 data. And look, because I added it over there in the other tables, now it's automatically showing here in my view. I don't have to do anything to update that, and that's way better than, you know, having to rebuild everything from scratch. My view automatically captures everything. BownerSoup, it's great to see you. Thanks for being here. Hope you're having a good weekend so far. Let me know if you have any questions. We are building or updating this right here. This is a Formula One Journeys map for 2024 or 2023, and we're just updating it with 2024 data. BownerSoup says, caught a little bit of what you were doing. It looks like a manual bridge table. That one's more of a data warehouse fact table, I guess you can say, and it points to all sorts of different dimensions. So a track dimension, a location dimension, an event dimension, etc. So that would be our central run. If you're familiar with like the Kimball data warehouse logic, it would be a fact table. BownerSoup says, can you explain what a better initial approach would have been for like everything I'm doing right now? Man, I hate to say this, but like, this data is not important enough to do this whole like data warehouse style thing that I did with the star schema. That's what I gotta say. There wasn't enough data. It's not important enough for me to do this whole star schema approach. And again, if you're familiar with it, fantastic. If not, I would recommend Kimball data warehouse. If you just search for Kimball data warehouse, Sigma computing, Kimball techniques right here, Kimball data warehouse toolkit is a great book. Here's the Amazon link. Fantastic. I'll just put that in chat. I'm not sponsored. This isn't in any way sponsored or anything like that. Oh man, I can't paste into the chat. It's being all weird. Oh, it's trying. It's trying. Let me see if it'll do it. If it does, great. The camera works fine, but for some reason the prompter, the chat just went away. So I'm trying to see how I can either reset it. Let me see if I can reset it. Or just launch Elgato. Hopefully it won't mess it up. The prompter, I want it to be go to chat, beta, display. No, it's like totally no go. Let's see. BownerSoup says, okay, yeah, makes sense. Yeah, honestly, it wasn't good enough. The data, it's not plentiful enough. There was no need. There was just no need for me to use the star schema for this. But we're here. We're trying to make the best of it. Hopefully we can. Let me take a second and see if I can fix the prompter so that it actually works. Give me 1 sec. Let's see. Maybe. Oh, it's my entire ooh, okay. I think I understand what's going on. It's my entire USB hub that's like messing up. Ooh, that's not good. That means I have to get a new USB hub. Let's see what happens when I do this. Oh, it's just RAM. It's just RAM for some reason. Let's see if I can free up some memory. I don't know what that's gonna do. Hopefully it'll do something. It's just stream. Oh wow, this is really weird. Anyway, I'm gonna continue on here because apparently stuff is still going. Oh, there we go. Now it's switching up a bunch of stuff. Okay. RDP. There we go. Okay. Everything looks to be back, or at least part of it looks to be back. BownerSoup says, I haven't read Kimball, but I have an understanding of the fact and dimension tables relationships with keys. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. That's good enough. The Kimball just reinforces that, and it basically talks about why that exists, what are the best methods for it, that sort of thing. But if you understand the star schema in general, you'll be good to go here. All right, let me see if I can go ahead and disconnect the prompter and reconnect it. Maybe I'll just go to be right back. Hopefully that works. Yeah. All right, I'm still here. Just trying to see if I can disconnect the cable here, and hopefully it won't like kill anything. All right, the prompter is booting back up, and hopefully I will have another screen when it's back. Yeah, I did it. Tech support right here. Hopefully, let's see. Does this work now? Okay, we are back. Camera looks a little bit odd, but we are back. Okay, and my prompter works, so I can actually read text right here, and my money's not wasted. Okay, great. So yeah, BownerSoup, I wish I would have gone a different approach. Like if I would have just made one singular table with all this information, it probably would have been more than enough. And really, if you're watching on YouTube, I might just export the contents of this table here and use that. You can use that as your data source, and that's it, and you'll be good to go. Because really this view contains everything I need for the report. So yeah, ambitious but rubbish, right? That's what Top Gear's motto used to be. So that's basically what you can attribute to me as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and add some comments to this view, because I'm about to update it and add the year. So we're at 10/12/2024. This is no longer data discoveries. I kind of removed that title, and it's just a playlist now. So we'll just say F1 Team Journeys 2024, and the description, I added this column. I always like to add the column name as well in the comments, so you can just go straight there. I do not like to put line numbers. I can't understand why anyone would put line numbers in comments. If you're watching this and you put line numbers in comments, please, I'm begging you, don't do that anymore. Why? Because certain people, like if you have ANSI nulls turned off, or you have set quote identifiers turned off, and it doesn't even make it into your script, you're telling me to look at line 403, and then I'm seeing that this script has 99 lines. Not only that, but like stuff's gonna move around all the time as I add more columns, remove columns, format code even. Please don't put line numbers in codes. I beg you. People who are developing your report five years from now will also appreciate it very much. Okay, so instead of created, this is going to be modified, and I keep the description. So modified by me, modified today, modified for the Team Journey 2024 update, and I added race calendar year. Now, going back to this whole create, now I can just slap a or alter here, and we're good to go. Now I can just run this script. Create or alter only works SQL Server 2016 and up. If you're on Oracle, it would be create or replace. All the other database platforms, they're great. I don't know, because I don't work with them enough. So I'm gonna go ahead and alter this, and then let's just go back to the Power BI report and see where we land, see where we have to fix. I think we should be pretty much okay, except for now it's just gonna be a cluster, you know what, of lots of lines here on the left side in the chart. So we're going to have to fix that. And we added something to the query that will help us fix that, right? We added the 2024 year. So that's what we're going to add as a filter to this page. All right. So I guess my machine didn't want to work. Okay, but that's up. And let's try refreshing one more time. Maybe it was just, yeah, maybe it was just a quick issue. All right, so here you can see right here we have lots of oddities, right? Lots of oddities. There's a lot more data in here than there was before. In fact, if I scroll down, you can see the from ID here too. Why is that? It's again because of the fact that we have both years represented here. You'll see the from location for Albert Park has 2 from Albert Parks, once to Baku and once again to Suzuka. Why? It's because of the calendar year. Now there's double the data here. We need a way to identify. This is now not the case anymore either, right? Or is it? Let's see if we can make this dynamic. All right, so first and foremost, distance category. That's a very, we don't need a lot of real estate to put that, right? I wanted to make it match everything else, so that's why. We don't need that much data, or we don't need that much real estate for it. Let's shrink it a little bit and copy and paste it. And now we have distance category twice, but instead of distance category, what are we going to use? We're going to use the race calendar year, which is a brand new column that we have because we just added it. So we're going to replace that right on top of the distance category, and then just get rid of the distance category, and we'll just call it race year. And now we have 23 and 24. But here's a problem. You can pick both of these, and I don't want you to pick both of them. I want you to pick one. So how do I do that? I go here to the visual itself. I go to the formatting options. I go to slicer settings. I go to selection, and I click single select. And now you have no choice. You cannot pick both years. You can only pick 23 or 24. So while we're here, it makes the map look a little bit weird, doesn't it? But then it's like, why wouldn't this just go back this way? That's strange, but okay. Okay. I guess it feels like the trip is a lot smaller when you make it. Where is this? From Shanghai to Miami. I wonder how they made the trip. I don't know. If anyone has flown from Southeast Asia to Miami, let me know. Do you go through Frankfurt? Or do you go through or do you go west, or do you go east? You go east through Hawaii. Or through California. Are there direct flights eastward? I'm gonna spend way too much time thinking about that, and I don't want to. This is interesting stuff, don't get me wrong, but yeah. Okay, so again, I made you select only 1 year, and that's well and good, no problem. So now I'm gonna go back to 23, and then I'm gonna add something special here to this text box. Why? Because I want this to change dynamically based on what year you have selected or the user has selected. So I'm gonna erase this 2023, and instead I'm just gonna add right here, when you're in the text box, you can add a dynamic value. So if you go here, I can just say max of race calendar year, because it has to be like a measure. And then when I click out, I can say name your value can be race year, and it's supposed to give me a result. Oh, there it is. It's kind of taking its sweet time. Let's try that again. Race calendar year. There. And I want the max of it, not the sum. I want the max. Come on, man. It's not the max. We'll get this. Review. Okay, let's try it. Maybe we can say first race calendar year. That might do it. Yeah, there it is. It thinks it's text, so that's why it needs first. Let's fix this now, right? Race calendar year needs to be it's a whole number. So why would it do? Oh man, I'm not even gonna just Power BI doing Power BI things. Okay, so let me put this again here. I'm just going to say first of race calendar year. It works, so whatever. And then I'll say race here. This is just to name the value so that I can go and review these, and I know which value I'm talking about right here. You can add slicers, you can edit this again as well, no problem. I'm not going to do that right now because I have what I need. Look, it's showing in blue underline. That's just telling you that part of the figure is dynamic, or that part of the text box is dynamic. So moment of truth, right? Does it work? Will it blend? Yes it does. So now I'm showing race calendar year 24 and I'm good to go. And now we're seeing just the 2024 data. We automatically got what we needed as far as the distances go. It's even using the China one that we had before. Where's China? I think it was like round 8. Let's get rid of this and just call in the round. Where's the round here? To location, to event ID, journey ID. It doesn't even have the round, man. What was I doing? So let's just do like an event ID. Where's the event ID? To event ID. Yeah, that's fine. Or the journey ID. Should I just do a journey ID? Not the count. I want don't summarize. Yeah, we can do a journey ID. It doesn't really make much sense if I'm honest. Like, it doesn't really tell me much, but it's fine to put in here, I guess. Let's just make the maps smaller, tiny bit smaller, and that way it'll fit. Now, why am I allowing the journey ID? Of course, I'm scaring myself with my own music. There we go. That's that Steam Deck pedal. I gotta switch it to something that's not raise and lower the music. Why am I even putting the journey ID here? Well, it's because one of the things I noticed I was missing from here was just a standard table that you'd be able to export into your analysis. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to build that table right now. And I'll show you in a second why we need that table. But first, I want to just scroll through these. We should see China now here. Here's China in our countries. That's cool. That's cool. Switzerland is Team HQ. We got that. Let's see what else. Locations by type. That's fine too. So this one transitioned well, and it has China, which is good. The event summary. Here's the event dates now, and we can see it's from 2023 through 2024. I'll keep it all. It's no problem. Just know, when you're looking at this, that you're looking at the span of 2 years, right? So first and foremost, I'm gonna change this right here to be whatever year is selected. So I'll say during calendar years for this one, because this one actually doesn't even select a year or anything. This just has all the data. Team journeys. Let's just do team journeys, location summary. Let's just call it a location summary and just lower the font, or make it italics. That's fine too. Just change the vibe of that page. And we got to get, if anyone has any ideas for this, we got to get rid of this. It's not working for him. It's not working. Maybe a filled map or something. Standard filled map. It's not working. This is a gimmick. There's nothing informative here. Can we do a filled map here? With the country. Location info places is where we got the country. So let's just do location. Yeah. And then the color of that filled map, the filled color can be the count. It'll be a gradient of the count of, where is this? Locations, location info places, the count of location IDs. And then a heat map, so like white to red, maybe with a little bit in the middle, like a gold in the middle. Can we do that? I mean, all that shows is like the US and various other countries. Oh, it's just one. Okay. Can we make it like shades of red? Let's try shades of red instead. So this will be like a really light red. This will be a little bit middle, and then here. Okay, that's way better. There we go. That still shows all the countries stuff is in, but it gets darker based on how many races there are. And of course, the US has 3 races in here, so that's why it's showing that. So let me add a tooltip, right? It says like number of unique location IDs. So I'll say this is number of races by country. So if you notice, the title changed dynamically as well. Number of races by country now. And when you hover over it, it'll say the country and it'll say the number of races it has. Here's Saudi Arabia with 1 race, China with 1, Australia with 1. I think this is a much better addition to this rather than just the word cloud of strange stuff. So this is a good upgrade for it. We're gonna make the background gray as well, just to match things. So let's do that. How do we do that? We're just gonna look at the general. We're gonna go to effects and background and steal this background color using more colors. We'll copy the hex code, and then we'll go over here and we will manipulate the background here as well. TypeErrorDev says, oh, this is a full team summary, not a specific team summary. Yeah. This is this is just F1, as they say on Netflix, right? It's a traveling circus. So this is F1 as a whole. This is every single team, and all the ones have all the journeys that they have to make. So technically speaking, every single team makes this journey. TypeErrorDev says like a team overview, right? Yeah, so this is just F1. It's not specific to any team, but man, that would be cool. Why? Because the teams have different HQs in different places, right? Haas is, man, I want to say Haas is in North Carolina in the US. Visa, RB, Cash App, whatever Toro Rosso is called these days, is in Firenze, Italy. There's a lot of stuff in the UK. I think there's one more team that's in it, Maranello, or Modena for Ferrari, and there's just a bunch of different places that these teams could all come from. Sauber, I think, is in Switzerland. TypeErrorDev says, yep, I was thinking of having a heat map based on the circuit wins. That's super cool. That's absolutely cool. I don't have any information about the races themselves in this data set, but if you're ever curious, I got quite a lot of information here in SQL Server about race wins, 1950 to 2020, qualifying times, 1950 to 2020, fastest laps. Like, I got this all on Kaggle, so I'm happy to drop a link to that data set as well. Drivers Championship, 1950 to 2020. TypeErrorDev says I'm forever curious. Yeah, for sure. Me too. It just gets me into trouble sometimes, because then I end up, going down the 3-hour rabbit hole. So happy to share this with you as like a BAK file if you have a SQL Server. TypeErrorDev says rabbit holes. Yeah, that is absolutely right. So I'm happy to share this data with you if you want in SQL Server, or just a link. Like I want to say I put this data. When was it that I downloaded this, and why did I do it? Oh, my very first stream, TypeErrorDev, was me analyzing this sort of data. Let me see if I can find it. If you're watching YouTube, it'll be here, but for TypeErrorDev, let me see if I can link you to that report. F1 stats yearly summary. Oh, hey, SQL Dev Bot. Thanks for telling people to check out my Power BI demos. That's exactly where we're gonna put this. Okay, so right here, this was a team summary. How many drivers, how many teams, how many tracks, how many years it's analyzing, the total number of points. Let me go ahead and publish this to web. I don't think I have yet. So I'm going to publish this to web right now, copy this link, and share it in the chat. Is it gone again? Man, my Mac's doing some weird things. I told myself, and I think it's gonna happen. I think it's gonna happen soon. As you all know, or as you can probably tell, I'm a very small channel. I'm a very small streamer. I'm a very small streamer. My channel is very small. This community is very small, but you guys are absolutely fantastic, and I appreciate you all. And I told myself when I got to 500 subscribers on YouTube that I was just gonna buy a proper Mac instead of using my like 4-year or 5-year-old M1 MacBook Pro. And as of right now, I'm at 495 subscribers on YouTube, and so I'm probably gonna have to open my wallet up in a few. So very, very thankful for all of you and all of your support. And it seems, even though I published it, powerBI, my Mac needs a second. So let me see if I can just paste it over here. Can I? No, my clipboard is just working overtime right now. Let's see if we can find it over here instead in Safari. Let's head on over to Safari. Safari's gone. Safari's gone. Safari's not here anymore. It died. That's what's going on. I have to restart Safari. Okay, maybe that'll work. Let's force quit Safari. I don't think that's going to affect anything for us. We're still here, fam. We're still here. Okay. We're going to open up. We're going to open up powerbi.com. I think we can head over to Safari. Oh man, my Stream Deck's dead again. This is crazy, man. Okay. Let's see. powerbi.com. There we are. Now we're back over to... No, that's just my website. Check out my website. That's all it is. I'm somewhere else right now, but I guess it'll be up and running in a second. All I need to do is get TypeErrorDev, the weekly stats or the yearly stats summary report, and I'll be right back to where we were. Okay. Embed, publish to web, copy the code, and paste it. Yeah, there we go. Okay, TypeErrorDev, there you go. You can check out this one. And again, this was the first report I ever did live on stream. So forgive the quality. I was just trying to make everything work as quickly as possible. I didn't know how long these were supposed to take and stuff. So, okay. TypeErrorDev says, I appreciate it. Of course, it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. I'm glad it's finally going to be useful after I did this February 19th of 2023. So I'm glad it's going to be finally useful after so much time. If you want the PBIX, let me know. I'll send it straight over to you, and you can just take over from there along with all the data. Anything you want from there, that's absolutely fine. All right. Oh, the report stuff. I'm good at task tracking, as you can see. Okay, so we got all the events that we needed. We switched this up to be a map instead of word cloud. Word clouds are cool. We were talking earlier about IVRs, and one of the things you can do for an IVR specifically is words that trigger specific paths, because an IVR something voice recognition, right? Interactive voice recognition or something. I can't remember what it stands for, even though I worked with them for many years. I apologize. I apologize to was it ElsyBot, I think. ElsyBot, I think, was the one talking about IVRs. And so basically, if you want to analyze like what words were said in an IVR, or a really popular thing to do, sentiment analysis, feedback surveys, and all that sort of stuff, that's what you want word clouds for. Not for stuff like this. Okay, so the color, the background color, that's what I was getting at. Here we go. Let's copy the background from this, which I'll copy the hex code. I'll put it over here and turn on the background. Oh, it's already on, but I need to use this hex code here. And now it's fine. You can see that there's rounded corners for these. I want to make sure I use the rounded corners here as well. So all I have to do is go to the effects. No, go to the visual border. Yeah, effects, visual border. And the visual border should have some rounded corners. I'm going to fix that here as well. I'm going to make it the same color. I'm going to turn it on, make it the same color, and 10 pixels. And now we have our rounded pixels for this. I wish I could put something here. Location type and country. Latitude and longitude. Location ID. There's nothing. There's nothing I should be putting here. Location info places. Yeah. Sometimes that's how I ended up with a word cloud, right? As I was just trying to find something to put in there. And it's really not necessary. Like, you know, we can put some stats in here or something like that. I can move this down and I can put some quick stats, like how many countries. Yeah, let's do that real quick. So to do that, I'll just drag in country to this card, and I'll just count distinct. And now I have number of countries. And I'll just make this tiny, right, really small, and then just change the font to 20, and change the category label to like 8. And there you go, number of countries. And this is unique countries. So number of countries, number of tracks. I just copy paste this, right? Because I don't really need to do any more formatting. Number of tracks, can I do that? Oh, location type. Okay, cool. So this can be a unique count of location IDs. Count distinctive location IDs. But I can add a filter to it based on the location type that says this must be a track. So this is number of tracks. And there we go. So number of countries, number of tracks. I could stuff something else in here just to stuff it in there, but I really don't need to. I'm gonna go ahead and center this out, and then I'll just create a shape, a quick shape that'll match these two. So I'm gonna insert a shape, and it's gonna be a rounded rectangle. Actually, it's not, because I hate rounded rectangles. I'd rather make it from a standard rectangle. So I'll just do a standard rectangle. I should still have the background I need for the fill. So let's try that. The style, the color is the same as all the other ones. That's good. The border, I want to make it the same color as well. And can I give it a visual border that's also the same color and have it 10 pixel rounded corners? Does that work? I guess we're finding out right now. Nah, that looks bad. Okay, so what can we do to fill that out? I always hate working with these visual borders here. Oh, 10 rounded corners, and forget the visual border now. Yeah, go back to general and effects, visual border, get rid of that, and I still have my rounded corners. There we go. We did it. We did it. Let me just zoom in a little bit here. Oh, this is really, really frustrating. Okay, I need to align this here better. And then this will only let me like go here, but that's because I have snap to grid turned off. So why is it doing this? Anyway, I don't need to abide by its rules. I'm gonna make the height of this 65. And that gives me the space back. Now you might be wondering, like, okay, where's the cards you just added? Well, I just have to change the layering. So if we go back home and go to view, you'll see an area called selection. If I type in select, or if I click on selection, now I can see that this shape is right at the top. And just like Photoshop or any other program, you can always use this layering to move it all the way down. And so now my cards will show up at the top. All I have to do is change their transparency. So get rid of their backgrounds. I'm going to go to effects, going to go to turn off background, and now we have what we need here. Let's align this a little bit better, and this as well. And now we have countries and tracks, and we filled that space. This locations by type is pretty useless as well, but I'm not going to get into that. Event summary. Now we're okay here as well. Round 3 is in Australia. Round 11, like if you just want to filter by rounds, you can use that as well. Yep, there we go. Okay, events by month, that's okay too. Events by country, that's all right too. Now, this right here is a really good sort of gateway to what I want to build with drill-through. So let's explore the concept really quick because it won't take long, and I want to make sure you can get back to whatever it is you were doing as soon as possible. So what am I going to do? I'm just going to make a copy of this page, and I'm just going to duplicate it. And then we'll have like a detail drill-through is what we're going to call it. Detail drill-through. And again, right here, we're going to get rid of this. We're going to get rid of events by country. And all we need in this, actually, like, I kind of just want to get rid of this as well. We'll leave the date just because it might be important to us in a bit. And we'll leave this guy sort of out of the way here. But really the main focus of this is fine, I guess. The main focus of, that looks horrible. The main focus of this is going to be a grid. So I'm going to just pop open a table. Make it really large over here. And then we're just going to start slamming columns in from the location journeys area. So we want to do this tactfully and make sure that we do it correctly. So we have the journey ID. Right click on that. Don't summarize. There we go. Then we want the name, I guess you can say. I slowed down really quick. Hopefully I don't need my inhaler again, but I feel it. I feel it building. So give me a sec. Hopefully that did it. That's a great thing about live streaming as an asthmatic. You never know. All right, journey ID is good. Man, do we have it? Let me just start throwing stuff in here, and then if we like it, we'll keep it. If not, it goes away. Okay, this is all about the journeys. This one's all about the journeys. Should we do a track list instead? Because this table's not connected to anything. I wish it had like a track name from and to. Like, where's this guy coming from? It is coming from here. From to. Okay, from locate. No, I just can't read, apparently. Let's just make that one bigger. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Okay. Let's get rid of all these again. So we say from location name to location type. We'll say from latitude to longitude, just so you have it here if you need it. And then we'll actually do as separate columns as well. Again, this is for folks who export this data. Don't really need much for anyone else. This is just an export vehicle here, export gateway. So I'm going to add the race calendar year as well and say don't summarize. And I'll show you why I'm even doing this in a second. But you'll see to latitude and to longitude as well. And that's it. I think that's really all I need. I don't need a round. Oh, the distance. Sorry. Okay, the distance. distance in miles and distance in kilometers. That's a super important one as well. Distance in kilometers and distance in miles. Okay, let's do from location here with a space. To location. This might be like the one that your boss ends up looking at, and so I want it to be fairly clean, right? I don't want it to be all SQL style columns. From latitude and longitude to latitude and longitude. Did that just mess everything up? Yeah, it sure did. Okay, let's try that again with a bit of patience. From latitude, from longitude. I'm just double clicking on these and just adding a space so it looks like a grown-up did it instead of me. Distance in miles, distance in kilometers. And now when you export this, and I'll show you really quickly what that looks like. I just click on the ellipse and I say export. Let's see, drill through export sample. I'll name it that. And now we can go right here and we can see if I open this with Notepad++ or even Excel, I can see that it's just a standard CSV file, and you can import this somewhere else, you know, if you really want to. I think Power BI Online allows you to do it as well. MaestroHavok, hey, what's up, bro? It's great to see you. Thank you so much for stopping by. We are updating our Formula One report for all the Formula One journeys. We had it for 23 data, and now we have it for 24 data. I just did this through SQL. I did it through some Power BI stuff, really minimal Power BI, because I set myself up for success last year, sort of. But yeah, now we're just going through setting up a drill-through page. So this is my drill-through table, and what I want to try to see if I can do is get this to be smaller. Hope you're doing well, MaestroHavok, by the way. Thanks for being around. Hope you're doing well. Oh, actually, I can give you a shout out now that you're here. Maestro. Oh man, I can't see. It's my glasses are super old, or at least this pair is. I think that worked. Yes, check out MaestroHavok's channel. It's a lot of fun. Last time I want to say, Silent Hill, and Chained Together, I think was one that you were playing recently. Or not recently, but maybe a little bit of a couple months ago. That was a lot of fun watching you play that, for sure. All right, so we reduced the size here, and we're gonna go ahead and reduce the size of the column headers as well, and now things just look a little bit cleaner. MaestroHavok says all good here. The dashboard is looking pretty good. All these data coming straight from the game itself. So that was last weekend was me doing sim racing telemetry data, and this right here is where I did it. Let me send a link because I did publish it to web. Let's see, where's the Twitch demo? This one. I just published this one to YouTube this morning. I'm not going to download this. What I am going to do is grab the link from it and paste it here. MaestroHavok says thanks, and yes, Chained Together was very stressful but fun. I think you were playing with a friend, and that makes it even more fun, I'm sure, because you can talk to each other at least during the game. So this is the one we worked on last week. It was using my sim racing telemetry data, because I do sim racing very poorly. My sim racing telemetry data, I was able to download the data using the sim racing telemetry app, and create this report. It's 40,000 records. So this is that. This time we're just using data that we made from the Formula One website. We're just using the Formula One calendar to track their journeys. We put in all of the location information, the geo coordinates. We put them into SQL Server and Power BI. We use my function that I built for getting the distance in kilometers and miles, and then we put it into this flow map that you see here on the left to show how crazy some of these journeys are from weekend to weekend. Some of these they do in 1 week. Like the race is on Sunday, they pack up on Monday or already on Sunday night, and by Thursday they're already at the new location setting everything up. It's crazy. And sometimes these journeys are just absolutely huge and vast. So huge props to F1 for all the stuff that they do, because man, I don't think I could. All right, so we got our grid. Now, how do we turn this into a drill through table, right? Because that was my goal here, turn this into a drill through. During the race year, because I can't have this be 2023 only. Race year. Oh, you know what? I can just name this drill through. Drill through. Okay, and then put that in italics. Does that work? Yeah, there we go. Okay. All right, so how do we put this into the drill through? Again, we go over here to the build visual, and then if we scroll down to the bottom, you'll see something called drill through section. Now I need something to drill through from. So what am I gonna do? I'm gonna look for maybe a location summary. Ooh, are they connected? I don't know if they are. Maybe I can rebuild this. Is there a country? From country. Nope. Okay, so we can change that. We can change it. Let's see if we can change this. Let's add the country right here to the view. Added race calendar year and country. I'm pretty sure to country has a, or the to location has a country. So lit2 dot country. Yeah, there we go. As to country, and even the lit from dot country as from country. And then we switch those around. So added from country and to country. From country and to country. Good, good, good. Now we can update this. Now we can refresh this view. Yeah, and we can rebuild this entire chart using just our view, which honestly, again, it's like I was saying earlier, I should have just done one data set, one table, and switched it, to be that way, because it's really not. It was unnecessary to do all these other tables and all this other star schema stuff. I think we should be able to, as we go here. MaestroHavok says, great, thanks for the links. Did not know you can only refresh one table at a time. Oh yeah. If you want to just refresh like this one, you can refresh everything, of course, but if you want to refresh just a specific one, you just right click on anything and it'll just refresh that one. MaestroHavok says something new. Yeah. I'm always learning with Power BI. I'm sure you are too. Okay, so I'm going to switch this to be, instead of from location info places, which has the country, locations, and location type, we also have that in our standard view. So we're going to replace those. So we're going to use to country right here as our country, and you'll notice it'll go all sorts of weird, but it's okay, we got this. Hover over here to see what value was used. So I'm going to say it was to event ID or to location ID. Let's say to location ID replaces this, and I'm going to count distinct, and then the legend is location type. We're going to say to location type, and now we have it back. Everything's back again, except for the formatting, right? We can fix that really quick, no problem. We'll just go to the visual, we'll go to the bars. We'll say that the series track is sort of a deep red like this. Oh man, I don't know which one it is. Let's grab the color, which is this one here, and that's what we'll use as our color to make sure it's the same color. Or if you want to cheat a little bit, we can use the format painter and paint it. No, decided that's not correct. So let's try that again. Bars, using the color, using more colors, paste that hex code right there and you're good. Let's do like for Team HQ, I forgot what we even have as our alternate one. So for Team HQ, let's just pop a yellow in there. Why not? Yeah, that's fine. I think that's what I ended up having before. Anyway, okay. So now, why did I even do this? Well, because I needed to set up our location, our drill through correctly. So I'm gonna do United States. United States is gonna be first. This x-axis, I need to say it's locations, number of locations. Number of locations. There we go. Okay, cool. So now we have that set up. We're gonna go back to the drill through, and then we're gonna say that to country is a drill through. And we're gonna leave it as used as category. And when I go back to the location summary, now when I hover over United States, I'm gonna hover over a little bit longer and you can see that a drill through opens up. So it's saying there's 3 locations in the US. And when I click on drill through and then detail drill through, it'll go to those locations where we went to the US. And so you can see that there's 3 unique locations that we went to, but we've gone from a bunch of different ones over here. So once we went from Lusail in Bahrain to Austin, we went from Mexico to Vegas, we went from Shanghai to Miami, we went from Singapore to Austin, and we went from Interlagos to Vegas. So we've gone from a lot of places to the same 3 tracks over the course of 2 years, and that's pretty cool. And if you want to do some additional filtering, you can filter it to only be 2024, for example, like this. That's absolutely fine. Or is it? It looks like this is being fed from a different one, so let's fix that right now and say it's the date. Calendar year, I think, is the only one we can do. So let's just do calendar year. Let's just replace it with calendar year. 23 and 24. We'll switch that to just be like tile, like this. But let's make sure that we're not affecting anything else. Yeah, we're good. Okay. So the drill through is like this. We're gonna go ahead and make this a little bit smaller because it looks kind of silly being that big. Oh no, you know what? We'll actually leave it just in case we add more calendar years. We're okay there, right? So I can select only 23, only 24, or just leave them both like this. Let me make sure that your selection can be select all, just like this. Let me make sure that this is correctly stated. Race, calendar year. Now, you may be thinking to yourself like, okay, well, this exists and I have to hide this now because it's only a drill through. It only exists for the purpose of being a drill through page for other pages. So I can only get there from this page, for example, because I hid it. So when I go to Italy, it'll go to Italy and it'll show everything. But the problem is, I'm going to go ahead and just remove this, and then we can copy maybe, yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of that and just leave it. Now this looks incomplete though. And this looks silly. Right? So, yeah. Fix that later. Okay. So, yeah, like maybe I want just the whole thing. Maybe I just want to see the table by itself without having to click through it from somewhere else. So I'm just going to go ahead and duplicate this again. And I'm just going to call this full detail. And I'm just going to get rid of the drill through and get rid of this little back arrow here as well. And now you have a full listing of everything. I'm going to unhide this. There, I'm going to unhide it. And now it'll just be a full detail page. You'll be able to search through it as much as you want. Let's put the round over here as well. here's where I can actually get a little bit more creative and just push the round over here. I'm not going to sync these visuals. I'm going to move this visual over here and just turn it into a drop down, because the reality is I can't fit all those rounds in here. Here's a drop down. I'm going to make this a bit smaller to be right here and right here. And now you can just drop down and select all the different rounds that you want. And of course, they don't show because it has to be the journey ID. So maybe I could just switch this from the location. This is what happens when you have multiple data sets all together like I have here. They're not disconnected. So again, I should have just used one table for this. I was being ambitious, and you just used too many. So let's just do a from country, or from track, from location name. There we go. Now we're okay. Now, not only that, but I'm going to enable this search functionality. So if you just want to search for like Baku, you can find it right here. If you want to search for Albert Park, you can search for it. If you want to search for the country as well, you'd be able to do that too. If I just say from country, like that. There. Another break. As better. Those are super fun. Okay, I think we're wrapping up. So let's do from country here, from country, and from track, or from track. There. So now, if you just want all a particular country like this, it'll give them to you. If you just want like United States, you get all the United States ones as well. And you can filter that way instead. Use this little eraser to get away from there. And I think we're okay. I think this has been updated for 24. We have the drill through. We have the journey ID now to help us. We can see for 2023 calendar year or for 2024. I can't let you do both. Technically I would, but the data wouldn't make sense as far as distances go. This page here is about the distances, right? So that's important to know. We can see that this one here is just a crazy journey. If I hover over it from Vegas to Lusail in Bahrain, it's just bananas. And that still hasn't happened yet. That's actually this year that's going to happen. It's this record right here. It's just such a big journey. Singapore to Austin was also a big one. China to Miami. It's just crazy. 12,000 kilometers. Oh, that's something quick we can do to add some spark to your data. Okay, is conditional formatting in a table. I always suggest that just because it gives you so much depth to that table, and you don't really even have to work that hard at it. So for the kilometers, I'm just going to use conditional formatting, and I'm just going to change the background color, and I'm just going to use a gradient. It's a simple gradient. And it's going to be from white to red. And it's just going to give you, the ability to have your users focus on specific ones that are just a lot as compared to the others, right? As compared to the others. That's the important part. And so we can immediately tell Vegas, huge one. Singapore to Austin, huge one. Shanghai to Miami, just like we were saying earlier, the map. But this data contains that same message. And so there's another way. Let's do that other way for miles, right? Right click, conditional formatting again, but this time we're going to hit data bars. And in data bars, it's going to be the same thing. The positive bar is just going to be red, or let's do a lighter red here. The negative bar, we don't really need that, but we'll make it yellow just in case. And then the distance in miles is what we want to measure, and we want it from left to right. So now you can see sort of the same thing, same concept, but using data bars instead, if that's your thing. Some people actually like to do the data bars without the numbers on them, just to have like a little table that's also a bar graph. That's something you can do as well. I'm going to make this a little bit lighter. So I'm going to go conditional formatting and data bars and just make it slightly lighter. It doesn't need to be that dark. Maybe as light as possible, because it's getting in the way of the data itself. And there you go. Now you can see in both kilometers and miles, and you draw attention to the larger ones one way or another. You can visualize that data. And that's it. I would love to put, like, if you watch my stream on the Olympics, I did one in both Spanish and English. If you watch that stream, you'll see that I was able to put little flags next to the countries. I would love to do that as well. I might end up doing that by the time that this comes out. Highly doubt it though, just because I want to get this in people's hands as quickly as possible. We have page 1 here, which we do not need, so I'm just going to hide that. You can explore that if you need to, because I'm sure it was relevant at some point in the stream. MaestroHavok says it's very useful. Pinpoint what you need. Absolutely. I use conditional formatting in my tables quite a lot. I want to draw attention. I work in the finance area, but I also serve all the other functional teams in my organization, and so we really want to make sure that we draw their attention to exactly what they need to focus on and not waste their time. That's huge for me, is making sure that whatever I produce saves people time. Let's see, location summary. Let's just do a quick review here. Again, this draws their attention as well. The heat map draws so much more attention. This locations by type could have been something else. I challenge you, anyone out there, if you can think of something better for me to put here, happy to do it. If you want to do it, you go ahead as well, right? I wish I had more statistics about these. You know what I could do? Street circuit versus race circuit, like standard race circuit. That would be a good one, because the track versus HQ is just 2 records, so it doesn't really matter. But street circuit versus race, full race circuit, that would be cool. That would be really cool. So I think I might do that. That's a good idea for me. Note to self. Do that, and then update it. Okay, I think we're good. Let's update our changelog here, right? We're gonna say 10/12/2024. My God, it's been a year. It's been a year. Added drill through, updated for 2024, and other stuff. Everything still works. Yep, everything is still relevant here. Check out my data discoveries playlist. That's still fine too. I'm still on Twitch. You're literally watching me on Twitch right now, so that's still a thing. That's good. Okay, I think we're good. We're just gonna go back here. We're gonna save. We're gonna publish. And no. We want to publish as F1 Team Journeys 2020. No. It's the same link. It's just gonna work. I think this is in data discoveries, or is this in my workspace? I think it's in my workspace. We'll see. Yep. Replace. I want to get it out of my workspace though. This needs to be in data discoveries, so that's where I'm going to put it from now on. Publish to data discoveries as well, and that's the one I'm going to feed here in the chat to you as a link, and that's probably the one I'll link to in my YouTube video if you're watching this on YouTube. Again, all the files, all the data, all that stuff is going to be available right here in the description for you, so you can just access it right then and there. All right, so if we go back here to data discoveries, we will see F1 Team Journeys. I'm going to publish this out to the web now. We're going to embed report, publish to web, in public. Hey, stop. Let's stop right now, because I've done this a few times and I haven't done this warning, and I usually do this warning. Do not publish to web. I know that's what I'm about to do, but it's very likely that you are not working with public data and you're working with your company's data. Now, it goes for you, YouTube. Y'all are a bunch of crazy people, and I don't want you to publish your company's data and potentially get in trouble, get fired, etc. Do not do this unless it's public data that you got somewhere on Kaggle and you're okay with that. You're okay with anyone who sees this link having access to your data. If that's not cool, don't publish to web. All right, so continue, and it's going to warn you again, do not publish confidential or proprietary information. Please, please, please do not do this. I just did though, because again, it's my data. I get to do whatever I want with it. Okay, let me paste it here in the chat. Oh man, does it not work again? My Safari is like, look, you've been here long enough. I'm gonna quit. So that's probably what it's doing. Okay, let's see if it'll paste in a second. I want to try to give it some time to do its thing. It'll probably work. Maybe not, but maybe. Come on, Safari. It's just a clipboard. I get it now. It's because this is on my PC and I'm trying to get out of it to Safari. It's a memory problem. I'm fairly certain this is a memory problem, but it's cool. It's cool. Hopefully I get to, let me see if I can just tag it in my notes or something so that I can get back to this link later. And my notes will open. There we go. I should be able to paste this. Oh no, it's like it's everything. Okay. I will take care of that in a second. Anyway. Oh no, we can find it here. That's what I was doing. It's Safari that quit. Okay, I will send a link to this afterward, but this looks good. It's published. Let's make sure our drill through works. If I hover over the country, like anything else that has to, no, just Italy and United States. So 2 locations I drill through and detail drill through, and there it is. We have our drill through data. We go back over here and we can go to our full detail page. Everything works here. I can export the data as I want to. My credits are updated as well. That works. That's cool. Did I check the event summary or location summary? Yeah, I did. Okay, that's good too. The event summary, maybe I could make that drill through into the events as well. We'll see. And go back to the main map and we are good to go. Okay, so we were able to update it through 2024. We had to build our own data. The first time we built our own data, and this time we had to build it too. Part of me wishes I would have just built the data beforehand and done this, but maybe I'll just re-record this and push it out that way. But again, I've always made a point to be as natural as possible, as little editing as possible, so that you guys can see exactly what goes into this. I don't want, to just have a very short video and then when you're trying this out on your own, it seems like it's taking you such a long time. I mean, we've been at this right now, aside from me talking a lot, we've been at this for 3 hours and 45 minutes. That's how long it would take me on a normal workday. Anyone out there who works with Power BI and SQL Server and data, that's the case. I'm not going to try to lie to you and say it's a super quick thing and you can go back to playing Switch or something like that. Like, it's not difficult. It's just tedious. It's very, very detailed. MaestroHavok says, yes, it's very time consuming. Absolutely. You are a fellow expert in Power BI and data, and I know that you know what it's like. It's just how it is. And there's certain things that we can do to make it easy for ourselves, right? To make it a little bit easier. But for the most part, this is just how it is. And that's okay. I want to make sure that you are aware that this is how it is, and know that it's okay that it takes a long time. It's okay to go between subjects and, oh, I forgot about this. Let me spend 20 minutes making sure this is okay, because you're going to have to take care of it at some point. If it's important to you, make a plan for what you want to accomplish with a particular report and just check off the boxes if that'll keep you on track. But for me, I'm doing this on stream and it really doesn't matter. Hopefully it's helpful. I'm gonna put chapters in here for YouTube, so YouTube folks, you'll be able to skip around to all the different areas you need. But yeah, I hope this was informative. Thanks to everyone for sticking around. Again, I'm gonna put the link in chat at some point. I just don't think I can because Safari seems to be quitting on me. So I think because we have a few folks here, I think we can do a quick raid on GatoBeats. GatoBeats is just a chill channel that has a bunch of it has lo-fi music. Are they on right now? No, but Turtles and Chill is on. Let's do some Turtles and Chill. I wish I could find someone else in the same category that I could raid to, but it looks like that's not the case. Oh, GatoBeats is on, but I think y'all want to watch some Turtles and Chill, so we'll do some Turtles and Chill. Thank you all for hanging out. Hope this was informative for you. Again, Google Docs in the description below for those of you on YouTube, or really anyone. You're gonna see everything on Google Docs for you, and if I can help, if you have any ideas, let me know. Happy to take care of them. Thanks to everyone. Thanks to MaestroHavok for hanging out. Really appreciate you stopping by. I will see you next time. Thanks.